What's up? What's up? What is up? Hello, hello, Matthew Matson. Eric Thurman. What's going on, man? Matthew was the first one in, man. Stopping by for a little bit, watching Firefly to flush his brain of the Acolyte. I don't blame you one bit. Um, man, oh man, is that show bad? That is rough. Um, I will. I don't even know if I can continue to watch it. I'm gonna try. Um, we'll see. It's been rough, and I know Tuesday night, Matthew and I kind of decided, hey, if something good comes along and it's something we like, then maybe we'll give it a shot. But man, that show is bad, and I'll go through a little bit of it tonight. I'm not gonna sit here and show a bunch of pictures and stuff and go through the episodes or the episode, the most recent one. I'll give a little bit of a breakdown. Eric Thurman, what's going on, buddy? Um, so I guess really just to jump in on that. Actually, hang on a second. Let's see here. Matthew, what else were you doing here? Listen to a Geeks and Gamers debate coverage reaction with Drunk 3PO. I actually would like to be watching that myself, actually, but I want to stay to a schedule and maintain a schedule. It is hard, and 3 streams, well, 2 streams a week, and then the next week 3 streams. Also, while trying to do videos, and mostly I put out shorts. I will say, shorts, however, they don't get you a lot of viewing hours, but man, they get you a bunch of views. I got a email from YouTube, and I had already jumped up to like 6,000, I think, or something, 6,500, somewhere in there. I'll see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, 6,500 views, which is man, like that's a lot. Of course, most of that is from shorts, and I attribute most of that of being for people that have, short attention spans. Overall, I mean, really, when it's all said and done, I think that would be the reason is that they're just 60 seconds or whatever. And so, long content, long form content, you keep it around 10 minutes. I think you're good. If it's 20 minutes, you need to be good at it. If it's longer than that, you need to be really, really good at it. Also, let's see. Yeah, Eric Thurman said, definitely not going to watch the Acolyte. And I don't blame you. It is not worth watching. For those of us that like to torture ourselves, I think it's probably, in our bag, I guess you could say. But it is definitely not something I recommend. It is one of the worst, if not the worst, Disney Star Wars productions ever made. And it's catching the heat for it. I mean, it's catching a lot of heat for it. Everywhere you turn, the audience reviews, the critics still shill for it, but you start to see that change a little bit. You start to see some of these people still put out articles blaming the fans again, the toxic old white men who, don't want Star Wars to change. And it's funny because I remember as a kid, oh, hey, War Chest, what is going on, man? Um, what I had 2 steams or streams after I went to Mexico, but what can I say? That bus driver was hot, and she made amazing tacos. Uh, I bet, and having talked to you a little bit, that, taco part definitely has a double meaning. And actually, Warchest and I have had some pretty funny back and forths, on Instagram. Man, what a dude. Interesting person to actually talk to and start to get to know. I'm probably going to have him on here with me, one of these Friday nights. Hell, depending on what he's doing, I might send him the link here in a couple minutes or in a few minutes or an hour or so and see what he's got going on. But definitely want to have him on and cut up with him because, yeah, he can definitely cut up. That's for sure. Bobby Wold is in the house. What is going on, man? Bobby Wold says, did you see when Smilo ran through the lightsaber through the trees and they fell in the wrong direction? I did. And yes, they need the navigational beacon too. It's amazing that fight scene is just all I've heard, all I've seen is this is the best episode the of the season, even though it's still not good. I don't even know if I feel that way. Maybe it was the best because there wasn't that much dialogue, and so it didn't give, the writers a chance to put their shitty dialogue into this thing. 3-star draw, what's up, son? Um, because overall, this is extremely poorly written. Obi-Wan had some bad dialogue. Ahsoka has some bad dialogue. Um, Boba Fett, I mean, they've all had pretty bad dialogue. However, this one is really characters that give exposition. You have characters that give exposition about somebody else's life to them. Um, you have really bad choreography now, and again, and I've heard some of the people that I watch, um, as far as your nerdrotic, your critical drinker, your mauler, your heels versus babyface, disparu, little platoon. I mean, I could go on and on and on. And I have heard, golly, man, I apologize too. I keep wiping my face. I was outside grabbing a smoke before I started this stream, and it is so humid here, y'all. And I'm still trying to cool down. I've got a fan on, the AC's blowing hot or nice and cool rather. Um, and yes, Matthew, Robot Head also has been killing it. I love that guy. I started watching him probably a couple years ago, three years ago, maybe longer actually. I guess probably longer. But anyway, they've all been kind of saying, "Hey, this has had some decent choreography. It's not as good as the prequel trilogy, but like this, I don't think this choreography is good. I don't think the 3 stars wearing the same shirt I am awesome. We did get the same shirt at Joe Fest. His is a little different shade. Mine probably hard to tell in this light anyway. But yeah, like everybody's been saying, oh, the choreography is not that, not too terrible. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's really good at all. It's if you want to make good choreography for a Star Wars film, then you need to get Nick Gillard. That's if you look at the Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon fight, Nick Gillard, he did all that. He did the Obi-Wan, Dooku and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. He did all of it. And even Attack of the Clones, where he all of a sudden had to sit there in a scene and try to figure out how Yoda's flipping around fighting Dooku with Anakin and Obi-Wan near the end of the film, and he's trying to figure out how to choreograph this thing with this what's supposed to be a puppet or CGI flipping all over the place. That's the first time we ever saw Yoda fight. And I remember being in the theater and watching that, and everybody was cheering, everybody was freaking out. I was with 3-star at that movie, and we're just like, oh my god, everybody's mouth was open, everybody's cheering, um, and you get none of that with really any of these shows. There have been some decent fight choreography. But like if you look at this most recent episode of The Acolyte, there's so many instances where they have an opportunity to cut this guy's arms off. They have an opportunity to do something. It's like, is everybody just standing around twirling their lightsabers while they go at him one at a time? Then he has this cortosis is the material that no one knows about because it's never been explained in any films or any TV shows. It's in the comics, it's in the extended universe, but it is a material that shorts out lightsabers. So if you thought to yourself, um, you know, how is he shorting out these lightsabers? He's headbutting lightsabers and all this kind of stuff. Um, it's because of this material that his helmet is made out of. Well, if his helmet's made out of it, then make a whole freaking armor suit out of it. And then they can't even hit you with a lightsaber. But on top of that, people watching the show that didn't know anything about that are going, this looks weird. It looks strange. The dude is headbutting lightsabers, and then you see everybody kind of do them, and they shake them, and they hold them, and it's shorting out, and it's like, what is happening right now? I had no idea. I'm thinking, oh, what then the lightsabers would come back on. So there's no explanation. You have no explanation, no setup for any of this stuff. So then the fight scene becomes just him shorting out everybody's lightsabers. Um, and then when he has a chance to kill someone, he's got someone on the ground. They've fallen back. He's knocked them back. He's got their lightsaber out of their hand. And then they look up and he runs away. So if your intention, and he describes himself as a Sith, which we know hasn't been around for a millennia in the Phantom Menace, but of course, obviously Disney decided to not only change that, but change the age of Kid-Mundi, or Kid-Mundi. It's like they're just playing fast and loose with this stuff. And I bet the writers are in there and they're like, "Oh my God, this is gonna look so cool. It's gonna look so cool." You know, like it's they're thinking about it from the wrong perspective. And not only does it not look cool, it doesn't make any sense. At several moments, you have the character of May, who is our antagonist. So in the last episode, she goes from wanting to turn herself in, and then the guy who ends up being her master, who she thought was just a friend or whatever, that's accompanying her on this trip. He's like, "You want to spend your life in a Jedi jail?" And so she's like, "Well, it's better than him coming after me," talking about her master. Then in this episode, she flips the script like 5 times. She goes from, like, trying to run away and escape to then wanting to, like, kill her sister, and then hang on real quick let me get to this chat before I get way, way, way off here. Matthew Madsen says, "Slow your roll, Turbo. Slow down. The Maul, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, it's not great, but that's because I do historical and realistic sword fighting. And look, I love watching Shad from Shadiversity. I love his stuff. He also deep dives into sword fights and how unrealistic they are in movies and stuff. I understand. It has to be theatrical, right? So they have to film it. They have to set it up in a way so that it looks good. It's not like real people fighting. Real people fighting is up close and down and dirty and even with swords. And that's, but yeah, I'm not saying Obi-Wan and Maul and Qui-Gon was the best, but this is pretty bad. The only one that's really, I think, worse is the original Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, in the original Star Wars. It's pretty rough. If you've ever seen that fan made one, you should check that out. It is awesome. Like, it is actually awesome. Somebody actually redid that fight in the original Star Wars at the end on the Death Star, and you should watch that sometime if you've never looked it up. It's really freaking cool. But Matthew also says it's way better than the Disney crap. 3-star, no, I don't want a Smilo Ren mask for my birthday. I'd rather have a lesbian witch costume. If you can get me that, I would love to have that. Shark Eyes is here in the house. What's up, man? And yes, I believe you when you say that you are here just so you don't have to watch the Acolyte. Listen, any reason for you to tune into my stream, dude, I'll take it. It's even if it's so you don't have to watch that shitty show. Same time toy, Shane. What's going on, man? Good to see you. And then let's see, Bobby Wold. I wonder how bad the series has to get before we'll get a cringy dance number by the Squid Games guy talking about being oppressed. Well, so the thing about him is they've set this up in the show so that he's done something evil. It's obvious because at the very end of this thing, after all these Jedi die, mind you, okay, they don't call for reinforcements. The only one that's left alive is Saul. He kills the Sith guy, Smilo Ren. And his name in the show, if you look at the captions, it's just Stranger. The Stranger. He kills all the Jedi. So Saul's Padawan. He kills the Jedi Knight. Discount. I don't even know what to call him anymore. And then you have anybody else that was in the show. They all get killed Jedi wise, and people that have no real speaking lines or anything like that. So at the end of the episode, the good girl, the good twin, gets knocked out. her sister confronts her. She tries to, and now again, her sister was going to turn herself in, right? The bad one. She's going to turn herself in. Then all of a sudden, she tries to tell her sister, no, they're bad. They brainwashed you, and she's like, no. And then her sister force pushes her, and it knocks her out. And so then her evil sister takes off all her clothes, takes off all her sister's clothes, puts her clothes on her sister, and and she does this really weird pose. If you look, I'll see if I can find a picture of it. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But she does this weird thing where she like sticks her chest way out like this. And she's like and then she cuts her hair off. And she cuts it to look like her sister's hair. And then she puts her sister's clothes on. So she took the time to dress her sister up as herself, and then somehow meets up with Saul, the Jedi, and follows him to his ship. All the while, Saul thinking that this chick is the girl that he brought along, the good sister. This shit makes no sense. And and you would think a Jedi would notice that, right? So that's how the episode, it doesn't end that way, but the Sith guy, he has a chance to kill him. Saul has a chance to kill him. He's got a lightsaber to his neck, and the good sister convinces him not to do it. And then which makes no sense because the Sith guy says, "I'm going to kill all of you. You've seen my face." And so he doesn't do it. And then the good sister, she brings her little light, her little robot friend. It has a light on it, like a big, uh, freaking, whatever strobe light. Anyway, she sticks it on the Sith guy's back, and these bugs come and fly in and pick him up and carry him off. And at the very end of the episode, you see him get dropped down, so he must have fought him off. So she convinces Saul not to kill him, but then she sticks a bug on his back so that sticks a light on his back so these bugs can kill him. Like, you see how this makes no sense? Like, character motivations are so stupid. And yes, War Chest, come on back, man, when you get your stuff done, buddy. So none of the motivations make any sense. And then at the end of the episode, they walk off to the ship, the Jedi, Saul, and his little, and the bad sister dressed as the good sister. Somehow Jedi Master doesn't even sense the shit. And then all of a sudden you see the Sith guy drop out of the sky. He comes down, he's fought off the bugs, and then he walks over to the good sister who's dressed up like the bad sister. And it's not mentioned that he even knows who she is. He thinks she's the bad one, I guess. I don't know. We're going to find that out. We've got 3 episodes to go. There's nothing left to do. Like, I don't know what this show has just been such an absolute disaster. It's like a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I will yes, Matthew, actually, let me look that up and I will show that. I think I even sent it to myself. But yeah, no, this show is just absolutely there's nothing about it that is Star Wars. Nothing about it at all. And so, I would be glad to fill you in on this bullshit. But really it's just rough, man. And I'm wondering how long that Disney's going to lie to themselves and continue to attack the fans, calling us racists and istophobes and we don't like gay people because they're in this show or the showrunner or like whatever. None of that has anything to do with good writing. Like, none of that has anything to do with good character development. And they just keep playing this broken record over and over and over and over again. And eventually, like, people are gonna get really, really fed up with it if they aren't already, for one. All right, I'm gonna email this to myself, Matthew. And I'm not look, just a Friday night stream, guys. I don't feel like I've just got to blast through it, man. We can relax and kick back and shoot the shit. And if I gotta look up an email, I'm gonna look up an email. No biggie. So, so yeah, I know 3 star. I know you've been watching the show. Um, what do you think about it? I mean, in the chat, like what do you genuinely think about this show? Um, it truly is one of the worst things, man, that I have seen uh from Disney in a really, really long time, if ever. I mean, this could be like the worst thing that I've seen from them. Um, let's see here real quick as I scroll down. Eric Thurman says identity politics. Yes, 100% identity politics. This has been their game really since the sequel trilogy came out. Um, and look, we can say that about a lot of stuff. Um, but it keeps happening and nobody wants it. I mean, look, look, there's some people who probably do want it, but I can tell you doing what I do for a living, um, I haven't met any of them. I'll meet people occasionally who will mention that, they like the show or one of these Marvel Disney shows where I can't hold it against somebody for liking what they like. Okay. I'm not gonna do that. But what I will do, however, with them is I will point out some of the stuff that is just, makes no sense. And sometimes you'll see their eyes light up. They'll light up and kind of go, oh, I guess you're right. Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is something that Matthew sent me, and this is actually pretty funny. Let's see here. Like, look. I'm gonna rewind it. Look at the pose. Like, look at the pose she's in. Like, she leans way out in this, like, distinctive pose, and then how the hell did that happen? Perfect cut, and oh, no. One more time. That's that's perfect. Right there, that's perfect. I mean, stuff is that's great. Yeah, when you sent that to me, Matthew, I had that was fun. And, man, there are some great meme artists out there. Really, really great meme artists. But yeah, like, just the whole idea of it, her cutting her hair, it looks like a perfect I mean, don't you think a Jedi master would notice this? Like, notice any, like, "Oh, she has a different aura about her." This is a master. Like, oh my god. So who knows? I'm assuming next episode we're gonna get well, we'll get a flashback in episode 7 before episode 8. And so next episode, I'll tell you what, in the next episode, considering that Saul, the Jedi Master, has brought the evil sister onto the ship unbeknownst to him, he better be calling for backup. He better be calling for somebody. Because if he doesn't, shit ain't gonna make no sense. Because all these people got killed and you're not gonna let anybody know. So we'll see. Maybe he really is evil and he's got another plan up his sleeve. Who knows? No matter what it is, it doesn't matter. And it's fun to cover, I guess, but only because it's so bad, but it's really hard to watch it. And 3 Star Draw said, barely caught my name in my earbud. I understand, especially when you're editing like I was earlier. Haven't watched episode 4 yet, but so far it's about a 2 out of 5, y'all. Yeah. Yeah, episode 4 is extremely boring. They go from one planet to another, and that's about it. That's literally it. They go from one to another. There's a lot of walking, a lot of talking, a lot of shots of people walking and talking. That seems to be a common theme with a lot of Disney shows. Bobby Wold says how many Jedi initially were there. I guess the power of the one is more than the power of the many, many. Uh, yeah, freaking brutal, man. Actually, man, a Saul Goodman meme would be good. That's pretty good. Yeah, Matthew, you're correct. They in this show, you want to talk about speeding up time. Hell, why would he even need to call for backup or call anybody? He could just fly to Coruscant in like 30 minutes. I mean, literally. Um, and Manny Jacinto, the stranger in this show, has already confirmed in an interview that he's a Sith. A lot of people are speculating he's like he's like a apprentice. He's an acolyte, so to speak. He's an apprentice to a Sith master. Nice, that was good. My son getting a sneezing attack. I'm also going to have him on here in a few minutes to give a review of the Marshall figure from Chicken Fried Toys, the dime novel Legends. He opened him up a little while ago and was having some of the same issues I had with my Marauders figure, actually. And I'll let him tell you about that here in a little bit. Eric Thurman, I don't think Star Wars has ever done time travel. They've had so in the Rebel series, they kind of had this thing that's like the world between worlds. And so Ezra, one of the main character in the Rebels animated series, he was able to find a way into this world between worlds, and you could actually view through like these mirror things or view whatever, and you could actually like hear or see things happening from different periods of time. And he was able to actually pull Ahsoka out of her fight with Vader, um, before a Sith temple collapses, and he was able to pull her out of that temple and pull her into the world between worlds. So time travel, kind of being able to pull people out to of a different period of time. I don't know maybe what that's called. But yeah, same time, those dime store figs, they do look amazing. I mean, they're awesome. But I will say there is an issue with them. And I'm assuming that this is an issue that a lot of people who manufacture a 3 3/4 or 4 inch figure and have a lot of soft goods, a lot of soft rubber goods with pegs and stuff and holes to fit them in are going to have. At least that's been my experience. And now that's kind of the experience with two different figures from two different lines. And like I said, I'll let him give you his opinion. He's not a streamer. He's not a pro like I am, but nonetheless, he did check out the Marshall figure that I bought for him at Joe Fest. Um, Going down. What's up, Daredevil Dave? How you doing, man? Good to see you, buddy. Glad you swung by for sure. So obviously, I'll bring this up here. I know everybody obviously saw the Cobra Commander reveal. It's been talked about. It's been um let's see, let's pull this up. What the hell's his name? I was once a man, Cobra Commander. I can't remember, man. You guys are so much better at that stuff than I am. I love collecting the classifieds, and I definitely remember my history and lore quite a bit. However, y'all are so much better than I am at really being on top of the news, being on top of stuff, um, and I just, man, I feel like such a poser sometimes. And that Keurig that 3 star bought and gave me to take home. Boy, I've never had one, but that's one of the best things I've ever had. Um, Legend series, what's going on? Jay Astro, what's going on? Um, let's see here. Same time. It might be a little conversation he's having there. 3-star draw says that figure looks fantastic. It is the damn it. I'm just gonna bring it up here. Let's talk about it for just a minute. Come on, baby. Cobra Commander. Don't let me down. Don't let me down here. Swear to God, all I'm getting are images of some other bullshit. Jay Astro, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. Wait, holy shit. Say what? Legend Series is nothing doing except he's sitting there waiting for Woody to get to his house. He's like 10 minutes away. Hell yes, dude. That is awesome, man. You guys gonna hang out and chill out? I love it. I love it. It's great. I mean, yeah. Yeah, both of you guys, man. Y'all are good dudes. Love it. Really do. It's so cool. And and after Joe Fest and obviously not being able to see you guys, um, I'm really glad that y'all are hooking up. That was the most fun part for me. I've said it many times. And that it really was. I love the showroom floor. I love getting all the stuff. But man, oh man, that was the best part was hanging out with everybody and just kind of drinking and shooting shit and everything and so yeah, I was really let's see, con exclusive. Why is Google isn't giving me shit. What is going on? Finally, Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. Um, all right. So let's take a look here. I know you've seen it. I know you love it. There we go. There he is. All right. So, um, I hate all these ads. What a pain in the ass. Uh, I love it, man. I'm all about this figure, man. Um, you know, they'll give me some more pictures here. All right. Get rid of this stuff, man. Good God. So, everybody's wanted this figure. I love this out of focus picture here too. Um, everybody has wanted this guy. We've talked about it for years. Everybody's talked about it. Shark guys. New sub, another like, still the same old me. I love you. It's freaking awesome, dude. Legend Series says we're gonna smoke ourselves stupid and look for toys. That sounds like a great time. Um, that's awesome, man. I am. I'm really happy to hear that. I think that's so great. That's gonna be so much fun. You guys are gonna cut up, man. Um, I love the removable mask. I mean, how can you not? Um, God dang it, these ads are atrocious. Removable mask. I love the tattered now sleeveless vest coat. The face looks great. Um, this is a great picture here. But then this thing. What do you guys think about this thing right here? What do you think about this funky little dude right here? I I think it's so cool, and it's gonna be where you can wrap it. Or I mean, obviously they've shown it, so it should be able to stand up. At least it looks like it. Now, who knows what kind of razzle dazzle they've done in this photograph? But yeah, the like this just I mean, it just looks great, man, and I guess at the shoulder here, obviously, you've got some articulation, not in the elbow, not in the hands, or whatever you wanna call them three-fingered funky things, but, be able to move his, arms up and down, man, back, the detail, the scales, looks great, um I love that with the mask. I think that's really cool. And then this right here, this is where it's at, right? I mean, this is really where it's at. I mean, that's the, wrapping him around roadblock and Roadblock carrying him off. The only thing that would have been even cooler is if they'd have painted Roadblock's eyes like white with gray pupils or something. Like that would have been pretty wild. Like for real. But yeah, at the same time, let's see. What do you say, Matthew? What are you saying there? Obviously, 3-star. Once a man. Some say that Raptor might still be a San Diego Comic Con exclusive, i.e., 2 Figs exclusive. I don't know about that. Seems risky and not corporate like. I agree. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. And if it was, don't you think we might have gotten a little tip off about that already since we gotten well, we've gotten this news anyway. But and same time, Toys love that snake. Looks like the tail is bendy. Yeah, it should be. It should be bendy. And obviously being able to wrap it around Roadblock, it makes sense, right? Let's see here. Who's got sleeper cells at San Diego Comic Con? I'm going to tell you something. 3-star was the one that got us like hooked up on like Chuckles. And what else was it? I think it was mainly Chuckles, but obviously he was available after the fact. But yeah, he was able to get in on that. And there are a couple people I know that are going. I don't know them well enough to message them, if you know what I mean. Pretty big YouTubers. And so I don't know that I'd be able to pull that off. Nor do I know anybody in San Diego. And Eric Thurman says San Diego Comic Con is like $500 a ticket. I haven't looked it up, but I believe it probably is rather expensive, and lodging as well. I know that Gary from Nerdrotic, he has said on his channel a few times, like with Chris Gore, whenever they've been streaming, like there's a couple little sneaky ways he's got to be able to try to stay somewhere either on the cheap or stay somewhere that like, to be able to get a room or a hotel where a lot of them are booked up. So he had some sneaky tricks, but I can't exactly remember what it is. And yeah, Matthew, got your chuckles and mind bender from Moody. I mean, shit, you're able to pull that off. I think it's great. I don't know that I would be able to pull that off myself, but I agree. And El Segundo would be cheaper. So, oh damn, man. All right, Loki Wartooth, his internet is out, but he says hi. We'll tell him I said hi right back. I showed off his the 3D printed hardball gun, head sculpts, backpack, baseball bat that he gave to me at the Joe Fest on stream Wednesday night, and it was really freaking awesome. So tell him I said thank you again. And so yeah, man. So this Cobra Commander, everybody's been asking for this for years, and it looks like it's gonna be had. And then you got the faceplate that's kind of scarred up, scratched up, and stuff. Different hands, obviously the hair dryer gun, got a knife, everything. Super cool. Can't wait. I'm definitely looking forward to that, and looking forward to getting a hold of it. That's for sure. Somehow, where there's a will, there's a way. Or when you have people that there's a way. And so yeah, man. Let's see here. It's crazy. I already see somebody has this listed on eBay for $145. You talking about somebody has it listed on eBay for $145? This Cobra Commander, Bobby Wold? I don't know how the hell you could. I mean, obviously, if you got tickets already and you intend on going in and getting the little ticket to be able to buy it, or however they do it, so somebody's already all in. I don't know, man. There's some scammers out there for sure. You always got to be careful, man. I saw, somebody, I can't remember what it was, who it was, but somebody had paid for a pretty expensive figure and got sent back like a bat or something like that. Some bullshit. Did you guys see, same time Toy says, did you guys see the Action Force 3 3/4 Jack Burton figure on BBTS? It's under a different name. So they what they do, make a figure and just change the name to get around the trademarking or whatever. And yes, 3 star, I agree. Anybody that buys it like that is an idiot. There's no way I would trust I would trust that listing. I had someone one time contact me, and actually 3 star might remember this. Let's see, what was it? I ended up basically giving somebody like the runaround because that's what they were giving me. It was this completely fake message. And I just, man, I kept messaging them. They were talking about me getting some free money through this like Biden act or tornado act. I don't even know what the hell it was. And man, I kept messaging them back and like giving them all this stuff, like just these silly comments. And they just kept right on. And, and obviously, it's a scam, right? Now, eBay, they have certain protections, but still, man, I'd definitely be a little concerned about that for sure. So let's get this out of the way now. Did anybody watch the debate last night? Did anybody watch the debate last night? That's what I want to know. I was actually at work, but we had it on because people wanted it on with captions. Um, Eric Thurman says yes, did watch it. Um, he's about the only one right now. The whole thing, yeah. Um, 3 stars is fuck that debate. I watched a puck with toys. Well, of course, I had that on as well while I was at work, and yes, a hush falls over the crowd. Um, you know, I mean, look, in this country, I do think it sucks that these are our. I think this is our candidates, but I got to admit, like, yeah, Biden got that ass beat. I mean, he got the brakes beat off of him last night, and it looked and sounded pitiful. Um, it really did. Now, yes, the fact checkers have come out of the woodwork, and I know Trump definitely was embellishing quite a bit, and a lot of times in these debates, things get off track, right? The question is asked, and then they don't even answer the question. It's all the way on to another topic, another thing, and so it's hard to glean anything from them because it becomes a pissing contest. Um, however, just from the simple fact of physicality, from virality, from like energy, from being able to speak and talk and make coherent sentences and keep your thoughts and have your wits about you. It's a clear and obvious decision. And anyone watching that debate, I just don't know how you could have full confidence if you were voting for Biden. I just don't know how you'd have full confidence that he's going to be able to go, 4 more years. It really, really is. And so, bottom line is either way, and whatever way you want to go about it, I don't give a shit. That is your business. But I don't think anybody can sit here and tell me that that Biden was all there last night. Now, it might have been past his bedtime because I know they had a big thing today and he looked like he had done 3 8 balls. Yeah. It was like, Howard Deaning it up there. Rah! But but last night was pretty pitiful. We had people come in the bar and they wanted to turn it on, wanted to watch it, and we'll do whatever. We'll turn on whatever, put the captions on, and everybody had the same sentiment. I mean, it didn't. There was no one in there was thinking anything different. They're probably thinking the same things we all were thinking. To be quite honest with you. And Shark Guy says, yeah, he caught the second half after his stream. And actually, Shark Guys, I need to. 3 Star was watching your video earlier. I need to kind of check up on your video with the artist Shark, the whole deal there, and I need to catch up on that so I can kind of get informed about that a bit more. Punk was talking about it this past weekend at Joe Fest, but I need to kind of brush up on it myself so I get the clearer picture of all of it. And yeah, and kudos to you, man, for staying on top of that stuff. For real. Um, let's see. War Chest is back in the high life again. War Chest, all clear. And Eric Thurman says a 6 handicap. Oh yeah, I think the golf game was the most contentious part about it. It's like each one of them talking about their golf game. I would dare say Trump would probably be able to run circles around Biden on a golf course, even though they both are in their like late 70s or whatever. But hell, I got some guys. That are in their mid late 70s, coming 80s, coming to my bar after playing golf. We have a golf course across the street from us, and man, these guys come in and they play all the time, men and women, husband and wife in their 80s. They come in and man, I mean, and I can tell like they've been playing a long time, and I believe them when they tell me what they shot for the day. I believe them, you know. It's somebody that's retired and plays golf every day of their life. You're bound to get better at it, right? Even if you're 70, 75, even 80 years old. So it's really cool to see. Actually, it really, really is. Um, and and also, shit, I'd love to play golf every day. At 70 years old, 75 years old, just go out and hit golf balls every day, and then go have a beer or two afterwards. Are you kidding me? Freaking life. Even if you don't play golf, that's the life. Ride in a cart and drink beer, drive your buddy. Who cares? uh, let's see here. 3 star. Yeah. Okay. Shark Guy says, too, in a nutshell, he's a lying con artist with a victim mentality. I'm assuming, although I don't want to assume, but I'm assuming you are talking about Biden, but I don't know for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. There are problems with both of these guys, obviously. Let's not deny that. But I think the last 4 years, I would take the prior 4 years over the last 4 years, if that makes any sense. Just coming from an industry that relies on a strong economy. Although people do drink when there's a bad economy. If there's one thing people do, they'll drink when there's a lot of money and there's oh, okay. Gotcha. That makes more sense. Because I was like, yeah, I don't think that's what we're talking about. Yes, the artist Shark. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Although Shark Guy says he does have a lot in common with politicians. So after I'm done streaming, I'm gonna pull that video up. I'm gonna watch that video immediately. I recommend you guys go to Shark Guys and watch his content too. And get mesmerized by that accent, get sucked in, drawn in, like falling in love with the deep blue sea. It's getting lost in a sea of vocal talent. Um, and Eric Thurman says, I'm 47. I have 20 years to start playing golf. Let me tell you something. About 2002, I went and bought about a $350 set of clubs at a used sports place. And got out with some bartender friends of mine because we worked 4 days a week, whatever. You got plenty of time on your hands. And so I played a lot. I actually started playing a lot back in those days, and didn't really get great at it, but it was fun. But I have 2 bad hips. One day I'll get some pictures to go show you guys some of the stuff when I was a kid, from like 8 and a half or so to about 12, roughly, maybe something like that. I don't know. Anyway, and so trying to play golf, the amount of torque that you need, and the picking your ball up and placing your ball, bending down, stooping, swinging, all that stuff. It's like I would get about 8 or 9 holes in maybe a little more than that, and then my hips would start really bothering me, and so it got to the point where like I just couldn't enjoy playing because it got to be too painful. And for some reason too, in my late 20s, it's kind of weird. In like my late 20s, my hips and early 30s really bothered me, like way more. I'll have to have both of them replaced at some point in time. It's a form of hip dysplasia. But anyway, so uh they have not really bothered me for like 12, 13 years, 14 years, maybe something like that. Longer, maybe. And Krusty Old Crow, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? He says, "That's it. I can't get on top of all this video stuff anymore. I need a pop." Well, that's what I'm here for, buddy. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so golf got to be really painful for me. But however, well, I stopped playing. That's in essence that story. Anyway, so fast forward to about last summer, and I inherited some really, really expensive and very nice clubs. Lots of accessories, lots of shirts, shoes, everything. I mean, but really nice clubs, expensive clubs. So I owe it to the person that I got the clubs from to actually get out and really play and get out there. And so I know it's hot, it's humid as hell in Nashville, Tennessee, but I have to make it a point to get out there, even if I do the twilight shit, post 4 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But if you don't play golf, it's a hard sport. It's not easy to pick up, but it is fun to hang out with your buddies or somebody and just shoot the shit, rip on people, that kind of stuff. Yeah, Eric Thurman, golf and surfing, man. I'll tell you what. At 40, I'll be 49 in September. Surfing is probably not something I think I could start to learn how to do now, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I've told people that it's like water skiing. Water skiing. If you haven't water skied by the time you're 40, it's probably not a good idea. And just to give a little content too about the artist shark stuff, basically, um, basically saying that the artist Shark accused Baldy Punk, Bobby B, Surveillance Port, and Shark Eyes of copyright striking his channel. And so yeah, so I need to catch up on that for sure. Obviously, there's been some of that bullshit going around, but um, we know from the other part of it, right, with the Diaper Island stuff. And that's a whole mess too right now. Obviously, that is definitely a mess. Cost them their channel, at least for now, unless somebody knows that it's gone back up. And yes, 3-star, your brother John, he did love playing golf, especially later in life and being at the hospital, Walter Reed and stuff. And I agree, he was the last person I would have expected to play golf. Knee replacement, bad back, and actually, if golf helped him with that, then that's great. It was really difficult for me. And yes, Matthew, motion is lotion and movement is medicine. A body in motion stays in motion, man. That's the truth. And if that's your motto as a doctor of physical therapy, then that's the perfect motto, because it is true. And that's why, I've been working on my feet for the better part of 20 plus years, right? And if I stay moving, if I stay pacing, if I stay back and forth, man, it's the best thing for me. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. When I sit in this chair right here, now this chair sucks. I ain't gonna lie. I sit in this chair and do a 3-4 hour stream. I go to bed, man. I'll wake up all night, all morning long, and my hip would one of my hips, usually my left one, it'll wake me up because it'll be sore, and I'll have to reposition and all that. So sitting for long periods of time is actually worse for me than much worse for me than being on my feet and moving around. And I guess the actions of bartending as well, turning, stooping, bending, all that stuff, but doing it nonstop, right? There's no downtime. It works for me really well. Crusty Old Crow said, "Pop, those hips of yours were sore. I get it, but bro, you got some swagger most people would kill for." Well, I don't I either A, don't know about that, or B, thank you, very much. An accidental Fred Astaire, silver linings. That's true, man. No, and I appreciate that, dude. No, very, very much. I will tell you also, though, I played drums for a really long time since I was young. Played in several bands over the years, especially when I was younger, and and that was also, sitting down on a stool and playing drums. Like, you could definitely get sore doing that, but also running a couple bands. I'm not a singer by any means, but I like entertaining. So I always equated myself to like a David Lee Roth, but David's voice was far better than mine would ever be. But I was more of like, I liked entertaining people, taking the cordless mic, getting up on the bar, walking down the bar while I'm singing a song, jumping down off the bar top, stuff like that. I enjoy that kind of shit. And just being an entertainer, with an okay voice, not what it used to be. But yeah, so when you talk about, I guess, the swagger part anyway or whatever, I have always liked being in the middle of attention. I've never had a problem with that. I used to work for TGI Fridays. I did all the bottle flipping contests. I think I mentioned that. It's like the cocktails thing. So being everybody watching you, and pressure and that kind of stuff, I always wondered, or always enjoyed that, rather. And so something like this, doing this, just talking, is really easy for me. Very natural. And at work, obviously, I get plenty of it as well. And then, yeah, Eric Thurman lift weights every other day. That's what I need to do. Now, longboarding, yeah, I guess that would be the way to go for sure. Um, and but man, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna be anywhere where I could surf. By the time I'm able to get somewhere where I could surf, I'm probably gonna be like 58. Um, Crow, next time I see you, we'll get our mobility assistant scooters, and I'm gonna race you for that shirt. Yeah, man. Let's do it. If I lose this shirt because of that, I'll be more than happy to give it to you, buddy. More than happy to. It's so funny. The Outer Banks. Yeah, that's true. And 3-star, yes, there is no surfing on Percy Priest Lake. You are damn straight about that. There is no surfing. I mean, water skiing, but see, I'd be worried that'd just beat me up, especially my hips, like that. Just and skipping them waves like that too, man. I don't know. I think that would just kill. It's like trying to, like, I can't go horse riding, like no horseback, because having my legs spread apart like that and sitting over a horse, there's just no way, no way at all. And so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you never know, right? Life's too short to not try shit. That's for sure. So I'll never say never. Um, so hopefully, right now as we speak, Legend series and Woody have hugged it all out and cutting up. Probably doing a little token. Um, Woody's meeting Crown Fox. They're probably just cutting up right now. That makes me smile. That's good, man. I love that. Let's see here. What else? What the hell else I want? What do you guys want to talk about? Anything y'all want to talk about? Anything you want to bring up? Anything you want me to bring up? Like I said, man, this is chill. This is relaxed. You know, I'm just kind of like, hey, let's stream for a bit. I didn't do it today. Had a lot, a little bit going on today. And so, so I didn't really feel like trying to jump in on a noon stream, something like that. Even channel surfing makes me tired now. That's good, Crow. I agree. Hell, I don't even know how many people, have cable where you can channel surf, right? Like the good old channel flipping the up and down. It's like who does that anymore? It's you got to go through so many damn hoops just to watch a show now. You can't just flip through shit. I do miss that though. But even with digital cable, there's like a delay, right? There's like a delay to it, and the display, and all that. You know, it used to be, it was like, just bing, bang, boom immediately, man. You could just flip through 15 channels and go one to the, um, let's see, Woody and Legend, uh, and Crown Fox. We need a vid of this one. Yeah, I agree. Actually, I agree. And 3 Star says I don't miss it. You talking about miss channel flipping? I guess. I mean, I don't even watch TV, man. Like I don't watch TV at all. Not really. Um, I mean, it's one of them things. Like I just there's nothing on, right? Like they give you 200 freaking channels and there's not shit on. Um, that's a. I mean, think about it, like cable packages. We used to say that. It was like 25 years ago. You'd say that shit. 30 years ago, you'd say that shit. You pay, $150 for cable, whatever it is now, and you would you'd sit there and you'd flip through stuff, and like you wasn't nothing on. That was the one thing. You always heard that comment, like all these channels, there's nothing to watch. Um, and it's true. And now we've got all these streaming companies, and there's nothing to watch. It's like, think about it. Turn the Acolyte on if you want to. Oh my god. Yeah, same time. He said the wife would hate it. I would watch 10 shows at once. I was really bad about that as well. I was really, really, really bad um about doing that. Where I would just flip through and I'd have several, and then one would go to commercial and I would I'd go to another one, and then and it's just like um let's see. Let me do something real quick. Sorry, y'all. Boom. There we go. Um, so yeah, like, I'd be flipping back and forth, different shows and shit, and if you ever got a woman, you can hang that up, right? Like you can hang that up. Um, it's a it's I'm like ADHD before it was a diagnosis, before it was anything that would be like you know back in those days, it was just, hey, you give your kids too much candy, you're right. It's too much chocolate milk. Um, then it became like, hey, give them Ritalin, right? Um, and then eventually ADD, and then ADHD, and then it's like, oh, okay, now we've got, this is it. Let's see, yeah. Um, but yeah, being an ADHD person, like I would have to jump channels, like totally jump channels. That's and still, like I can't sit still. I can't sit still. I can't stand one place for too long. I have gotten better though about just being at home and like chilling, I've definitely gotten better at that. 3 Star says I can barely give all my attention to one show at a time. My head's exploding listening to you and my awful voice in this video. Trust me, I'm putting together my memories of like Joe Fast video, and you want to talk about hearing yourself talk and getting some, cringing at your own voice. That is, oh man, that's difficult. There's some things I say, there's certain way, like I laugh in certain parts, and I'm like, God, I've got to turn the volume down on that. I need to cut that shit out. Um, Crow, my thoughts on what toy vendors, went home with the best first impression. Um, so just first impression. This is before, like obviously I think the chicken fried stuff is really, really cool. But again, I'm gonna have my son kind of you know give a quick little thing about his experience with this figure. Whenever he's ready or wants to do it, I'll ask him in a second. And then let's see, what is this? Okay. So yeah. So yeah, the chicken fried. Who else really? I mean, my problem is, Crow, is that I didn't really pick up any of those figures that I think a lot of you guys are really, really like, that are really into. And it's not that I don't like them, it's really not. It's not that I don't like them. It is really more of just that it's maybe not my thing. And that, the one thing I know that I like is the classified series. I just, it's something that I really, because I'm not collecting any vintage, uh, and and so it's one of those things. Like, I wish I could give my opinion kind of on, on those. The Delta 17 was cool. 3 stars, says Ramen. Delta 17, Marauders, AWOC. AWOC was cool. Um, those were, those were definitely cool. And their booze, yeah, for sure, 100% stole the show. I mean, I agree with you there. Definitely stole the show. Delta 17. I mean, that booth, and they had everything laid out. Presentation is everything, right? Um, Presentation, it's everything, and you're going to get the most traffic, right, if you are set up and you are, um, you have things popping, right? It catches your eye. The big red, the amount of red in that Delta 17, um, that catches you immediately. Okay, so check it out. Mav, you want to grab the Marshall real quick? I'm gonna have him pop in here. So this is my son, possibly Mav. I'm gonna have him throw on the headphones and sit down on the mic for a second. All right. Let's see. Hopefully that didn't pop. All right. Welcome, Bucky. Might have to put it on your thing.
All right, cool.
Get into that mic.
There we go.
All right. Tell your audience. Say hello.
Hello, audience.
Possibly Mav.
I'm possibly Mav.
Give your review and tell them your issues and what you like.
So overall, the figure looks pretty good and it's pretty cool. The issue, and it goes for a lot of a lot of soft rubber pegs. The holster here, while I do have it together, it is impossible to take it apart and put it back on the figure.
Put your hand behind the figure like that,
Yeah.
and it'll kind of, yeah.
So you can't really fit it up the legs because it'll come apart if you do, and you can't really lift up the coat because while it's soft rubber, it's still not super. It's bendable, but not enough to put your finger in there. So when you try to wrap the belt around, and the same goes for the the little vest he's got, because the pegs are soft rubber, it's very difficult to get the peg in there, because obviously to stay for the peg to stay in the belt loop, it has to have a little out, it has to somewhat, I can't really show it on there, but it has to be slightly bigger than the hole you put it into, or else it's not going to stay in there. The issue when trying to put it on the figure, there's not enough room to put your finger, and I even tried using tweezers. There's not enough room to get the soft peg, which likes to bend too, to get it in the hole. And so when I took off his holster to put on one of the double pistol holsters, I was unable at all to get the holster on. And besides that, I mean, it looks great. The guns look amazing. It's just because the pegs are made of soft rubber and they're not hard, they bend when you try to put it together. So
you can buy accessory packs, right?
yeah, this is from this holster here with 2 little pistol things. It's from an accessory pack that you can buy too. So both the holster he already had and the accessory holster here from the pack. The articulation's good. Honestly, it's not bad. I wish there was a little more in the arms. Like, you can't really move them out or in. You can just move them up, down, and then the elbows have joints. I put them back behind the bookcase right there.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's the articulation's good. It's mainly just the pegs.
so look, check this out. There's his hat.
His hat, honestly, and I mean, obviously, no one that buys these is gonna like mess around with them. They're more for display. But even the stand that he comes with, I don't know if the pegs that are on here are for his feet or not. I couldn't get him to stand on the thing right because
so the pegs don't even fit.
No.
Now see, look, I'm gonna show you. I bought a weapon pack, and it comes with a bunch of holsters, comes with a bunch of guns, and then like this is his long gun that the Marshall comes with, and you can see like how long this thing is. Like, super cool. But yeah, it's a problem I had with the Marauders was that the pegs are a soft rubber and they want to bend instead of go through the hole. So
Yeah.
your accessories have a hard time going on. I love the figures. I think they're really, really cool.
Yeah, they
I have
look
not
awesome.
opened up the Pistolero yet, and I will, and I'm gonna put the Clint Eastwood head on him. But yeah, that's a problem. And again, it's an issue if you can't play with your accessories and get them on your guys to stay on, then what good is having them if you can't make them work?
The only other thing I really have to say is it's kind of hard to figure out what you cannot take off. Like, for instance, the hands you're supposed to be able to take off and change out, but it's now obviously you don't want it to come out easily, but it's almost because obviously the fingers, they're small, so they're gonna bend slightly. It feels like you have to really pull on it, and every time I go to pull on it just to see if you can, because you can change out the hands, it feels like I'm gonna bend or break the fingers. Same with the head, or not bend the head, but like break it. And so it's kind of hard to like figure out a way to take it off and change it. Besides that, it looks great. The articulation's good for the size, like for the type of figure it is. The knees articulate, the legs, the hips, the feet don't articulate. The arms don't have a lot of like movement in terms of like going that way, but up and down they do. Elbows great. The wrists, I don't think the wrists. No, they have articulation. So yeah, articulation's good. It's just those two things are kind of the biggest issues I have with it.
All right.
Anyways, I'll let Big Pop get back to it.
Thanks. Thanks a bunch for your thanks for your figure review. All right, so that was my boy giving his impressions on the Marshall figure here of the Chicken Fried Toys toy line, the Dime Novel Legends. Yeah, I mean, I do love them. I mean, I think they're super cool. But again, some of the issues that he mentioned, that's it's an issue. So, and I don't know where these toys are made. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't looked and see what, made in China, Philippines, Taiwan. It's got the different companies that did it. It's got the sculpting team and hardback character art, factory liaison, digital composite art, 3D printing, all that stuff. So somebody's 3D printing them, obviously. So they're not made at a factory, but I love the look. You don't see much of this stuff out right now, Western style. Now, also, I did see a comment. What Crow said something about, were any horses or wagons planned for this line are already available? I didn't see anything available. They did have some stuff on their table. Did have some stuff on their table, but I don't know, and really didn't get a chance to ask because they're pretty steady busy, for, most of the time. And so I didn't get a chance to ask. Let's see here. Look, everybody giving you good scores, man. Good review. 3-star says good. Gonna steal my job. Same time said that was actually something he was glad to hear. Eric Thurman says great review, Mav. Matthew Madsen, as long as it's not Columbia, apparently. Yeah, I watched the Fist review, actually. I sure did. I left a comment on that. And same time said that I had the same problem with a $100 destro. Yeah. Floppy feet, loose parts, really tough elbow joints, stuff like that. And you're kind of scared to heat them up because then they're going to be, you know what I mean? Like, which is something I have not done. Now, mind you, I don't do toy reviews. So for me, like heating guys up and doing all those tricks of the trade is not stuff that I am super, super familiar with. Obviously, I can learn. But at the same time, I mean, this is probably, other than G.I. Joe Classified, the Delta 17 Leonidas figure and these Dime Novel Legends are probably the first 3 3/4 or 4 inch or what size they are figures that I've bought in a long, long time, a really long time. So just to give you an idea, so when it comes to like reviewing that stuff, knowing a lot about them, I'm way, way out of the loop. And yeah, Same Time Toys says I only heat figures with hot water, never a heat gun, and that's basically what I've heard from most people. I think 3 stars kind of that's his method too. And so yeah, man. But I'm gonna open the Pistolero up. Probably here. I don't know, next couple days. I may just do a review on it. Maybe I'll do a review on both of them. How about that? Post that up. Just a quick review. Problem is, man, like, how do you guys do it? Like, some of y'all have 2 cameras, switch cameras. I've just got 1 camera. And man, when I was trying to do a review on the May Power of the Force, man, I tried so many different camera angles to review that figure. I tried to do up here and put my mic up here and stand and do it. I had the camera like here facing down, but then like my desk is a freaking mess. I cleaned it all off, but like it just I could not really find a great way to review a figure. Like and then maybe I guess I could find a boom arm to go up and over and like straight down like this. I guess it's having the right accessories, right? Like the right stuff to do it. Um, that it's, but having not done them, it's like, man, I remember that day trying to do that Power of the Force thing. Man, I spent probably 40 minutes trying to figure out how to set that up to review it. And I just gave up and I just did it with, if I remember correctly, I just put my camera on my hat. I looked down at the figure and held it. And it looks terrible. It's all out of focus and stuff. But it is what it is. Did you guys get your torch? You might get their torch notification email by chance. I did. Torch is supposed to be shipping out in the next few days, but then I also got an email that says Doc has been held up until September for me. Did anybody else get either one of those emails? At all? Let's see. War Chest. Check your Insta. I have to say it out loud. Anyway, so let's see who got what. Yeah, $5 tripod for your phone. And it probably works perfectly right. Like that's the thing. I'm overthinking it probably. Like I'm overthinking this review thing. I'm sure I am. I'm like, there's probably the most simplest of fixes. I probably just need to copy what 3 Star does, but he has like a cool background. I just have screens. It's like 2 monitors right in front of me. Let's see here. Eric Thurman. No, $30 is too much for not having accessories. Okay, fine. Yeah. War Chest got his notification. 3 Star did not get a notification yet. You told me that earlier. War Chest got both those notifications. So yes, Doc being moved back and Torch coming soon. And then Eric Thurman says the only figure I have coming is Cobra Commander, oh, and the Dragonfly. Which, yes, I mean that's, definitely waiting on that. That's going to be a while. And then which Cobra Commander, Eric? Did are you are you waiting on? Um, let me know. Let's see here. Yeah, that Mezco Snake Eyes looks super cool. I mean, come on with it, right? Like it's great. I did see the one with Timber for sale at Joe Fest, and it was it was like 125 maybe 100 something like that. Had a rip box, but with the Mezcos, like that's just what's gonna happen. Nothing you can do about it. You can't fit it back in the box. I ripped my Firefly box just pulling him out, and then tried to get him back in, and it right on the corner sucks. And Eric Thurman, this is your first Cobra Commander. Cool, man. And it's the retro one too. I love it. I love that look. Love it, love it, love it, man. Um, let's see here. Yeah, the Mezco Storm Shadow, and same time, and you can't really find him anywhere. I have not looked. I would love to get that one. Um, I do like it. I love the way it looks, but I have not looked for it. And Crow says he's got to hit the sack. Yeah, man, you guys like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure everybody here probably is subbed. But yeah, throw some thumbs up on that stream. Thank you, Crow, for mentioning that. And we will talk to you later on, buddy. Get you some good sleep, man. And I'll see you soon, I'm sure. Matthew Madsen says, yeah, the Storm Shadow Mezco won't fit back in the box. I don't think any of them do. I don't think any of them fit back in the box. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And yeah, same time. So here's the deal. You said you got the Mezco Destro for 56. That's a great price. I actually was able to get him at Joe Fest for 60, and I thought that was a great price. So, 56, absolutely. That's awesome. Now I know obviously shipping and handling maybe or whatever, or depending on where you got him at, may kind of push that up a little bit, or maybe not if you got him in person. So yeah, man. Let's see here. Oh, we have a special guest in the house. A special guest. Look who it is. The one and only. How you doing, War Chest?
Good, man. What's up?
Nothing much. Nothing much.
Oh shit!
Holy moly, what's going on there?
Oh,
What
knocked my
happened?
chair down. Tried to raise it up a little bit.
Good
Bust
God.
my ass.
Yeah, you almost sent your is that a Boba Fett? What is that mask behind you? Is that
Where? Oh, that's heavy
Manda?
Mandalorian trooper.
Yeah, I had him. Okay, I was gonna say it's Mando. I was like, yeah, you touched that one, by the way, when you went back just a little
Oh,
bit.
probably my head. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little worried that it was gonna go overboard.
Ain't worried about it. I just make another one.
Oh my god. So yeah, man, I told you earlier, I was like, man, maybe stop by for a little bit if you're not doing
Yeah, I ain't
anything.
doing shit. Not tonight.
You and me both. Friday night, and I don't usually get into much, and I know Fridays are kind of tough sometimes because you think, well, maybe there's people that are, people are doing stuff, people are out and about, but I have a feeling that with a lot of my audience is probably going to be at home. It's probably
Yeah,
going to be
probably.
working.
Usually Fridays are like date night for me, but not tonight, man.
Okay.
I got my
Well,
ass kicked all day. The
well,
heat wave has been crazy, and I've got crews working, and I was out with them trying to catch up because it was supposed to be just insanely hot and then rain. And I kind of started a whole sub company where we redo decks and fences.
okay.
And a buddy of mine owns a giant decking company. So he just subs all the work out to us. And these guys are just all getting their asses kicked. And when it rains, you can't stain. So we get backed up, and then I'll jump in and help out because the last thing I want is a callback.
Yeah, no,
yeah. So it's
not
like
in that
I'll
business.
just go out and be with you guys and see what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah, because getting a call back means losing money.
That's right. Every
Yep.
time you got to take another trip to the house, and then you risk
Absolutely.
the pissing off a customer. So don't do
Yep.
that.
Nope. And there is a punk with toys saying, "Hello, fools." What's going on, punk? How you doing, man? And Matthew, by no means am I calling anyone a loser. Merely just saying that chances are we're all at an age where we're not out every night, right? You know what I mean? And so and I know a lot of people making videos, taking pictures, or watching YouTube shows, right? Watching streams. I mean, that's a lot of what I do. So no, or families for that matter, right? A lot of people have families. You're not out running around if you got a wife or girl or kids at home, So chances are on a Friday night you might just be chilling, just kind of like I do. Of course, date night for you now. So, but you still you get out and about though. You still get at it, right? You still
I don't drink anymore. Like, I quit drinking about 6 years ago, but I'll have like a beer on a Taco Tuesday.
Okay.
Stuff like that. I'll have, if it's somebody's birthday, I'll have a drink with them, but I don't overindulge anymore. I don't.
Yeah. Well, then you and Lawrence probably would have been right at home hanging out with a bunch of us this past weekend at Joe Fest with the Friday night and then Saturday and Sunday night, because obviously all everybody that was there practically was throwing down, right? And but Punk, man, you want to talk about a trooper, dude. That dude hung in, and him not drinking and hanging out with a bunch of fools, and you know how that can be, right? When you're not in that frame of mind, and you're hearing people talk, and you've got to hearing people ramble, and you watch it go on and on too, right? It starts out at a certain point, and then as the night goes on, right, it gets worse and worse and worse, or however you want to look at it. And when you're not in that phrase, right, or when you're not that phase, you're not in that frame of mind, it can either be hilarious or it can be frustrating.
Yeah, and I mean, coming from the bar world for so many years, like, you have a high tolerance for stupidity.
Yes.
And it's like you're in Jerry Springer world when you're in the bar, and the shenanigans are just they're thick, man.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining to a point. And like, there's not a day that goes by that I don't miss that environment, because it's just it just makes for an awesome night of craziness and drama, and it's entertaining. But then, like, when you start getting older and it turns into more of a babysitting situation,
absolutely,
it just wears you out.
Yeah, and I will tell you, that is the number one reason why I do not go out after work with my coworkers. Now, years ago, I had a high tolerance for it. Okay.
Yeah.
But nowadays, now I am older than my coworkers, by whether that be 3 years or 12 years or 14, something like that. But generally I would be a babysitter.
And I'm the same age you are.
Yeah.
So like, I get it. And like there just comes that time where you just gotta realize, all right, this is a young person's game. I need to step down.
Yeah, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. And actually, looking at the chat right now and just seeing, obviously I know with Matthew and Punk, as far as, them and, drinking or whatever, I know that's not really their scene either. And Shane, Same Time Toys, hadn't had a drink in over 20 years. Eric Thurman, sober for 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I mean, that's, it's so funny though, because I mean, for years, my mom, we would say, "Hey, why do you got to go have a drink? Y'all going dancing? Can't you just go dancing and not drink?" And at that time, when you're young like that, you're like, "What are you talking about? How in the world could you not go dancing and have a drink, or go hanging out and not have a drink?" But yeah, it's one of those things with age, right? That you just it happens.
You got to figure, like, when you're in the industry, which I know you are, and you're in the. I'll just be upfront about it. I own nightclubs and strip clubs and high-end whiskey bars for years. And it's a whole different animal than working in the restaurant scene. However, it's still the same bullshit. You still deal with, different types of people. Like in my high-end whiskey houses, I had to deal with people that had a lot of money and that could be unreasonable clients
Yeah.
because they feel very entitled to
Right.
a certain level of, customer service. And then on the other side, in the strip club, you just get the dumbest motherfuckers you've ever seen. Like sometimes,
Wild.
like
Yeah.
like
Wild
you,
and out.
yeah, wilding out, acting a fool. It's kind of like when they go to the bachelor party, they always send the drunkest dude to negotiate. It's just,
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
that guy every night, and
Yes.
it's like, this is gonna be great. Yeah.
It's
So
like- it is true though. That's so
Yeah.
funny. And in that environment too, right? Like it is interesting because you're right. Like you have some people that feel very entitled, and then like in a higher establishment maybe, or whatever you want to call it, man, like a strip club, something like that. You get everybody's there for, it's an event, right? For them,
it is.
and it's
Like-
and so their chance to shine.
we would get so wound up on some of the crazy girls that, like, if it was a slow night and boring, you'd like lean over to one of the bouncers and go, "Hey, go in the back and put Portia's shoes in Deborah's locker and let's see some crazy shit go down." Just start fights with the girls for fun. It would just be chaos all the time. Unbelievable chaos.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I messaged you earlier about when I was younger, and it's like being in that world for about a year, and especially after my gigs and showing up late, and it's kind of right at the back end of the night or whatever, and by then everything's going down or gone down or whatever. But yeah, it is funny though, man. Like just with age, and it doesn't necessarily always mean more wisdom. I mean, there's wisdom in certain things, right?
Yeah, and also, like, when you work in the industry, you're a part of the machine. But when you own the place, now you've got to go and do business during the day hours like every other business, and then at night it's just a giant babysitting job.
Right. It and I can imagine takes a lot out of you, but
you start burning the candle for sure.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because talking about drinking and maybe you're not, and watching people party.
Trust me, I was always drinking.
Right. And a punk with toys, it says Joe Fest, he could just walk away from people that were annoying him, and that's true, right? Absolutely. So and it's one of those situations too where there were so many people that it wasn't hard to go find someone else to go talk to, right? And you don't even have to really say much. You can literally just kind of turn around and just kind of walk off. and chances are the people that are annoying you, they're just going to keep talking anyway, or they're going to find somebody else, or there's a group, right? And that's kind of what it was like. It's like little mini groups here and there and all that stuff. So
for sure.
So yeah, punk, I could definitely understand that. Eric Thurman said quitting smoking was the key. I believe that as well. I think that's a big one when it comes to drinking too, for people that smoke. It's almost like hand in hand, right? And I know it for me, that's definitely the case.
I've never been a smoker, but
that's good. That's
for me, it was
great.
like, and I can, and I like it all, like beer, whiskey, wine, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm in. But when I quit, it was just like one day I just decided, you know what, I'm out. It's just how it was.
That's interesting because it's, for a lot of people, that's not the case. Right. And then, whenever I talk to someone or I'll hear somebody tell a story about, my grandfather, he smoked for 45 years. And then one day he just put them down and never did it again. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, how in the world? That's a lot of willpower, man. That's a lot of willpower. It really is.
So surprisingly, most of the people I know over like the last, 15, 20 years that were smokers, a lot of them have quit. There's not a whole lot of people I know that even smoke.
Yeah, no, you'd find it. And I still do, but I really do need to. It's even from a social aspect, if you're standing out front of a restaurant, even away from the entrance, right? Like, I'm one of those courteous people. I try to go away from the entrance or, whatever, wherever there's a designated area or a smoking post or something like that.
Yeah.
And yet, sometimes you still can tell, like when people walk by or people with kids, obviously, or it's one of those things where you just don't see a lot of people doing it as much in public. I know
No.
I don't. I really
Yeah,
don't.
no,
I've
you really
noticed
don't.
a huge drop in the amount of people just casually out in public that don't smoke. And from what I understand, the generation that's growing up right now, like my son's, for instance, he's 16. I believe is like the first one in God knows how long that actually the majority of them do not smoke. And I know that
Yeah.
now, vaping, I don't know about that shit, but I know that when my son was in grade school and on up, like they hammered it in their heads. It was like talked about. They had things up on poster boards up and all kinds of stuff up, and it was really hammered in um, to their heads from the time he was really little, and been a constant thing. And when I was in school, that was not the case at all. There was no paraphernalia. There were no posters. There were teachers didn't talk about it, but they do that in school now, or at least he had that at his schools. So I think that influence, it does make a difference when you're having that messaging hammered in. Now, some of the messaging that's out there that's being hammered in, I'm not as fond of. The smoking part, great. But some of the other messaging I'm not as fond of that teachers and professors are hammering in these kids' heads these days.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I did want to highlight a couple things real quick. It was funny because Punk said that he was so popular, people just came and found him, and the reason why is because they want to see how short he was, and I can attest to that yes, he is short, but he would tell you that himself. But it's who gives a shit? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody gave a damn. But I did, of course, that people are gonna joke about it here and there. But I'll tell you, man. Hopefully next year that you can make it if possible. I think you'd have a really good time.
Yeah, I was there last year.
Okay, cool.
I saw several people. I just didn't really talk to anybody. I didn't know anybody then.
Yeah. No,
and I was in and out. I was there for 2 days, and then I blasted up to Chicago.
Okay.
Stayed with a buddy of mine. Then I went to that fan thing. So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to figure out next year how to make plans to just kind of do it again, and maybe try to get in on the hotel quick. I know the prices go up, but the closer you get or whatever, and it's harder to get a room. But being able to stay on site, I think, is actually really crucial with something like
Yeah, it's usually
so much easier. Just for getting up and walking out, and down there and stuff. I'm actually putting a video together right now, and got like the little time lapse crap and the road trip, and trying to show off some of Tennessee, driving through the mountains and stuff, or the hills, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I go to Tennessee. I go to Nashville probably 3-4 times a year usually.
You need to let me know when you do.
Yeah, I come down there for what we go. I own a property management group that kind of specializes in timeshare rentals and vacation club owners.
Yeah.
And so
okay.
We meet at the Margaritaville there, and we usually kind of have like a little staff party and stuff at least a few times a year.
Yeah. Well, man, yeah. When you do, you definitely got to hit me up and let me know.
It's a good time.
Meet up, have you come by the barbecue place that I work at. Actually, man, you can kind of
I've been there a few times.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I've been the one over on
12th Avenue.
12th Avenue. I've been to that one.
Oh, yeah.
Another one I've been to over there because they got multiple locations. I know.
Oh, yeah, dude. In the last couple of years, they've blown up.
Yeah.
Like they've absolutely blown
it's
up.
solid food. It's solid.
Yeah, it's a good gig. I've been with them for 8 years almost.
That's
it's
awesome.
a good gig, good bar gig, and I'm actually on the west side of Nashville, so that's a kind of a pretty affluent area at this point now. Property values have skyrocketed, and
I love Nashville because like the women outnumber the men heavily.
Oh, it's insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No.
When I first went there, my buddy was like, "Nah, man." He goes, "All the women here, business style." He goes, "They're all like 35 to 40, and they outnumber the men like 7 to 1."
It's
like,
yeah,
what?
No, it's insane.
Yeah, we would go out, and it wasn't a joke. It was just a sea of women.
Yep, and the part of town that I work in, so our restaurant's around the corner of a roundabout and like a side street, and and they just jog up and down the road all day and all night. I mean, it's literally just jogging up and down all
Crazy.
day and all night, and then coming in to eat, coming in to hang out,
Yeah.
and you're just like, holy moly. Every time you turn, your head's on a swivel. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
every time you turn
It's like-
around.
I live in Springfield, Missouri, and we have all these like college kids that come in, and Missouri State became state accredited a few years back, and we have just tons of imports. St. Louis, Kansas City, Texas, and all
Right.
these kids. So there's just kids packed the whole town. We
Right.
have more restaurants to eat at than our population can actually support, but because of all the people that come in for school.
That's plenty of jobs, I guess.
Yeah, if you're in the service industry,
right?
you can throw a rock and get a job, man. It's just crazy.
And we've got a lot of restaurateurs who have moved here, and now there's as you've seen probably, but there's a lot of different cultural places to go food wise, man. Like you can have your pick of pretty much everything now in town, more than it ever was. There's always places to go, there's always bars to go to. It's just now there's so much more. And then of course people come into town, they go down to Broadway, which is an absolute shit show. It's fun, but it's so crowded, and it's just in the summertime it's super sweaty, and it can be a little rough. I try to tell people, if you're going to go downtown, go down on a Monday night, go down on a Tuesday night. You'll have just as much fun. There's plenty of people.
Yeah.
But it's not quite as busy shoulder to shoulder and all that shit. I was gonna say too, Punk's talking about worried the pool water would be over his head. It was only 3 feet. So it's a 3-foot swimming pool. So I hope to God he was okay in that
next
pool.
year I'm gonna bring fun noodles just for Punk.
Oh, dude, Club Tarkin with fun noodles? Are you kidding me? That's what we're missing. We were missing pool toys. And of course, you have all these grown men, and there's like one family with this little girl, and she's trying to swim, and we're all over there like, fucking this and shit. And it's, and you try to watch out, of course, right? You try to watch out, or you'd say something, you'd turn around and be like, oh crap, but they stayed for a while. They didn't, and then they disappeared. Then they came back. It's like, so obviously they didn't have a problem with it. Like, of course, we're all these guys down there talking about toys and shit. It's great.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like you guys had a blast. And 3-Star was dropping videos, and it looked like
man.
Yeah, Lucky's outfit was cracking me up,
dude.
Because I've seen it in the store here, and I laugh every time I see it.
I just had too much fun. I had to get that thing. It was I saw it, and we were 3-Star and I were in the Buc-ee's, and I was like, man, it's $24, it's $25, whatever. And I'm thinking that's pretty cheap, because in my mind, a lot of times you see something like that, they'll jack the price up on it, right? Like it's a tourist thing, right? They're like, okay, we're gonna charge $70 for this shit. But 25, and I knew I was gonna wear it at the fest, but I wasn't sure for how long, and I wasn't sure, and I waited until like the last hour, and I thought, I'm gonna go put it on and just run around real quick. And one of the most fun things though was like walking down the hallway and having kids, like there were kids, and kids would like look at me, and then they'd turn around, or want to come take a picture as I'm walking down the hallway. And there's like, Bucky, and that was actually really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, and then some of the vendors, and walking the floor, and people just go, what is this guy doing? I'm no furry, but but I would wear that again. I mean, my son just did a figure review with that thing on. So just now, a few minutes ago before you came on.
I think I missed it.
Yeah, man, he reviewed one of the dime novel legend figures from Chicken
those
Fried
are pretty
Toys.
cool, like the cowboy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really cool. But he opened one tonight, and he reviewed it right here on the stream.
Cool.
And did a pretty good job, actually. But he's got some issues with it. A lot of times when you get these soft plastic figures, you know, with the accessories, and you try to fit the peg in the hole, and the peg wants to bend on you, and it doesn't want to fit. You can't even mash it in there, and he's trying to use tweezers and all that. So there's definitely some things that I think could be improved upon in that department. I do love the look of them, though. Bottom line is, I love the look of them, and
Yeah, and a cool idea too.
yes, I'm sure they've got a whole thing planned with like wagons, probably, and
Oh,
animals,
that
right?
I didn't even think
Horses.
about that. That'd be badass.
I would assume now they had some set up at Joe Fest, but I don't think it was like official stuff. It was kind of table dressing, right?
Yeah.
Booth dressing in a way. That's what it seemed like to me. And 3-star draw says we need water guns at Club Tarkin. Punk said we need some glow fun noodles for Club Tarkin. Absolutely. You kidding me?
Get him some floaties for his arms.
Man, are you, dude? Oh my God, the pictures would be amazing. That you want to talk about like cutting up and getting some good response. That would be hilarious, man. Like that would be so much fun. And yes, Mega J did give me 3 Delta 17 comics for the price of 1 because of the Bucky's costume. That literally was the reason why, because I had it on.
Oh, is Mega J part of that?
Yeah, and I actually, he was one of the last booths I stopped by. Actually, probably the last one I stopped by at least, and was on YouTube live, and so he wanted to take a picture of me in the outfit, and then I bought a figure, and then I bought the comic book, and he was like, I held the camera up. He's like, "Is this for your YouTube channel?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I forgot to tell him the name of it, I guess. And in my mind, I'm not thinking that way.
Yeah.
And I had not really talked to him, busy man all weekend long. And so, yeah. And so I turned my camera around live, and he kind of, gave me a shout out and told people, make sure you subscribe to his channel. But the thing is he didn't really say Pop Blender, but he said, "Oh, I met Monkey." He said, "I met Monkey." And that was the first thing he said is like, "Hey, I met Monkey here. And you need to make sure you subscribe to his channel." And so I don't know why, because I know he knows what the Bucky's costume is. But I think just off the cuff, it was like he said, I just met Monkey. And he's really cool," or something like that. So it was kind of goofy, but it was still fun anyway. I made a short out of it and put it on YouTube. Yeah, nice guy for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, Punk, I guess those floaties aren't fitting on those 24-inch pythons, right? I don't know. Hell, I don't know. I think I could fit some floaties on these like 11-inch pythons.
That's hilarious.
Maybe 9 inches. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't measured them in a long time. Pitiful. I tell you what, man. Give me 1 sec. I have a coffee over here I made a few minutes ago. I'm gonna go grab it real fast. Is that cool?
Get after it.
All right. I'll be right back.
Nice. Oh man. Yeah, I wish I could have made it out. It would have been a good time for sure. 3-star. You finish up that video of your travels. I saw you were putting up one kind of showing your whole experience. How'd that go, man? It's kind of weird sitting here talking to yourself. I don't know how I'd be about that.
So what do you feel about the Cobra Commander reveal?
Man, you know what? That's always been like a lifelong figure for me.
Right.
Like it really just has been. I always wanted it when I was a kid, and they never did it, and I always thought, man, they're going to do it. But I was kind of like everyone else. I was really into the military aspect of G.I. Joe. And then when they started adding the sci-fi, it was kind of weird. Like the movie was a little odd, but it was still cool.
Right.
And it added like a new level of stuff. So, I mean, I as a kid, you just absorb that stuff. So I was really into it. But when I saw the reveal or when they did the name reveal, I was like, all right. And then when they dropped, I was like, that's great. Yeah, it looks incredible. I'll definitely. I'm thinking about flying out just to make sure I get the ones. I haven't been out there for a long time because it used to be a comic book show, man. And I used to work for Mile High, and I used to go to all these comic book conventions, and I would always have a blast. But to tell you the truth, they're just not comic book shows anymore. You know, they turned into
Yes.
all entertainment shit, and it just wasn't worth going anymore. It's just a giant marketing
Well,
machine, and I didn't
and
enjoy going anymore.
you know, and real quick, Action Figs, what's up, man? Thanks for dropping by, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, so when the Marvel stuff blew up too, I think when the Marvel stuff really blew up, and really that whole machine got rolling, I'm sure it maybe kind of took over.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Oh,
even
majorly.
before then, but I know that when it was at the height of its popularity, I have no doubt about it that it definitely took over. I would love to go to some of those bigger ones and like that one as well, but I've watched a ton of videos on it, man, and I just don't know that I would enjoy that. I really don't. I there's parts
Yeah.
of it I probably would, but it's one of those things. I think if you didn't really know anybody that was there and couldn't really hang out with anybody that was there, then I don't know for me if it would be as fun, if that if that makes sense.
You know, I've never been like that personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those guys that will just go do whatever by myself. I go on vacations by myself. I went to Joe Fest last year by myself. I I I went to Disney just so I could go see the Millennium Falcon. Like I went in, saw the Falcon, left. Like just like
Yeah.
I will do stuff like that all the time. I'll wake up one morning and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna go fly do this weekend. I just go.
See, I love that, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and I think once my son graduates, I'm gonna try to do more of that. Just take off, I being on that schedule of every other weekend, and I mentioned that to you a little bit earlier through messaging and whatever, but
Yeah.
and then trying to be available for everything in between, which I have been able to do. Um, Taking off on a whim because I kind of have to fit all my work in between my every other weekend, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm off 2 weekends a month. I've done that for years and years and years. So I have to fit all my work time in between those
Yeah.
other weekends. And so yeah, I'd love to do more of that. Like wake up and just say, hey man, you know what? I want to go to Charleston for the weekend. Or I want to, I've never been to LA or you know what I mean, or San Diego or somewhere like that. LA, but San Diego or just whatever. I'd love to just be able to take off and do that. So I'm going to try to plan on really doing more of that once he graduates and starts getting his own life and stuff going. That's kind of the plan. If you do, I mean, shit, if you decide to pack up and go out there, let me know. You can scoop me up
Yeah,
one of
man.
those, man.
I just thought about it. Like one of my things was like a lot of my friends, we all have kids of the same age. A lot of my friends, our kids went to school together. So like all of our kids are out of the house. And I've got some of my friends that decided 5 years ago, hey, let's have some more kids. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? You just got to have kids.
Man, that's crazy, dude.
I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
no, don't do that.
Right,
You got to
right.
screw it all up.
Holy moly. I can't even imagine. My mom's best friend, her son had an infant at like 52.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine having an infant at 52, man. Like
Yeah.
the energy that it requires and school and just everything that
Yep.
comes along with it, but he married a girl that's like almost 20 years younger than him. And so when you're with somebody that young and if they don't have kids yet, it's like then they're unless that conversation comes up and it's a no-go for everybody, then that's something you may end up running into. And I actually dated a girl who was oh gosh, I don't know. She turned 30. I was about 40. What was I? 44, maybe 42, something like that. No, it's probably about 42. And we split up because she still wanted kids, and I was like, I can't do that. Like I can't. I've got my one. I'm good. It's like I can't go through that again. So, but yeah, man. San Diego Comic-Con. I did love the reveal. I love the figure. Like you said, and I said this earlier in the stream. That's one of those lifelong guys that people have wanted forever. It's something you've always thought about. Now, 3-star, however, he has a different idea. He doesn't mind the once a man Cobra Commander, but really wishes it would have battle armor and a Fred head. Now, he's been on this Fred head battle armor kick for a hot minute. I obviously would love that as well. And hopefully, I mean, we are going to get battle armor Cobra Commander. It would be ignorant. It'd be so stupid if that didn't
I
happen.
have a battle armor Cobra Commander helmet. That's badass. It's insane.
You know what?
But I'll get it out and show it to you.
Where did you get that?
The battle armor one? A buddy of mine who actually made this Admiral Akbar mask. He used to work on the show for Grimm.
Oh,
and
man.
During COVID, he wasn't doing anything. And he was like, hey, man, I know you want some stuff, so I'm going to start making some stuff. What do you want? And I just made a list, and then boxes just started showing up.
Dude.
Holy, for real.
Holy.
Yeah.
That's great, man. One day, when you can, I don't want to put you on the spot or none of that stuff, but like one day where you can show off some of those pieces that you really like or something like that, dude, man. Dude, let me know, and you have a chance to kind of dig some of that stuff out.
I've got some pretty cool stuff. Like I've got a Michael Myers frozen in carbonite.
What?
Yeah, he's got his knife up like this, and he's totally frozen in carbonite. It's so cool. Yeah, I've got an assassin droid. I've got some really crazy stuff. Awesome. When my daughter graduated, I sold off like everything and some commercial properties, and I was like, I'm getting out of this town. And then some buddies of mine wrote me into this barbecue thing and wanted to do a barbecue restaurant, and we did that. And then COVID hit, and then the lease was up during COVID, and I was like, I can't sign another lease. We don't know if they're going to shut us down again. And right now we're dog paddling because we were right down at the university, and they sent all the kids home, so we didn't have nobody to feed, and we dog paddled out of that. And I moved into a big loft downtown. And so all of my toys and everything are all boxed up. They're all toted up.
Yeah, dude.
And they're stored everywhere. Here, the back bedroom, storage, mom's house.
I get it.
It's insane.
I get it.
Yeah, and I'm actually building a new place now. And I've got a giant toy room going in just for that. But also I'm going to start liquidating some stuff. Because I'm just like, this has kind of gotten out of control.
Well, and you're right. And also too, how it is. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have really not set eyes on something or used something or worn something in like 2 years, 5 years, right? Something like that. Like it must not be that crucial to you. Now, obviously there's certain collector pieces, valuables that you want to hang on to that you may not have out all the time on display or maybe looking at them on whatever. But, it's like with clothing, it's like with just a lot of stuff. If you hadn't really done anything with it, if it's still boxed up after a decade, after 7 years, it must not mean that much to you because you ain't even want to bring it out, and actually put it out for display or whatever. So
no, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that way. And there's some stuff that I've had, man. It's amazing how much stuff you can actually accumulate. You don't even realize it. Right. Like it really is. I actually have a lot of stuff I need to go through too. Stuff I've held on to. And it's just taking up room. Just taking up space. And it's like, I need to take the time. And it's kind of a bitch to do, but it's something that, it's like cleaning the garage. It's like a honey-do list or something, it's like,
absolutely.
Hey,
I already did it. Yeah, I already did it with comic books earlier this year. I blew out everything and I kept like some slabs, but other than that, like I got rid of all but about 35 boxes, of like runs of stuff I've had. I've been a hardcore collector since I was like 12 and a reader.
Nice.
So I switched from being a reader to just a collector and then started blowing stuff out.
Well, let me ask you then on that front, have you read the Real American Hero run, the recent run, new comics that have been out here?
Actually, I'm really kind of stoked about it. For me, reading anything Marvel and even Skybound, Kirkman does some really good stuff, but Marvel's just, for me, when I read Marvel now, it does not interest me. For the last couple of years, Thor was really good. Doctor Strange was really good for a while. They had some great writers on that. And then I jumped the ones I read the most now, which I was talking to Jerk about it actually today, and we actually kind of read the same books. But I read Conan from Titan is awesome. The new Savage Sword is badass.
Yeah, Mattson's all about that too.
Yeah,
Man.
dude. And Conan, I'm a huge Conan freak. So
that's awesome.
I love that stuff. I have picked up the Destro, the Scarlet, all that. I've read all that. The Scarlet book I just read today. It was really good.
I need to actually read it, and I got Destro down at Joe Fest #1.
Yeah.
It was the only copy I saw.
Yeah.
And was able to snag it, and I need to read it too. I've read I read the Cobra Commander series, and I read the Duke series, and I like those as well. The Real American Hero stuff I like now. I had not read leading up to that point, so when it starts out, and you've got all this shit going on with Serpentor and Mindbender, and they've got this bomb that is going to go off, and I don't know if anybody out there's read it yet. I don't necessarily want to spoil anything, but I do like the story. But yeah, I was kind of like, what in the living hell is happening right now? It's like, what is going on?
The thing I like the most about the new comic book, which I quit reading G.I. Joe like a long time ago, but I did pick up the new Bound set. I picked up the Cobra set with everything for the Kickstarter they did. I went ahead and picked up all those because I like the compendium, so I can put my books away and just put those on the shelf.
Sure.
But I really did get in picking that up. But I love the fact that the new books, they're reflecting the toy line. So you're seeing them in the outfits that the figures have.
Right.
Like I'm really wanting to get that Battle Android trooper leader, like that millipede looking thing. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him reissue like a Serpentor in the Serpentor Con, the zombie. Dude, I want to see that stuff.
So it's so funny because on a stream a few weeks ago, somebody had made it. It might have been Same Time Toys, might have been Thurman, I can't remember, but somebody mentioned about zombies, and I was kind of like, well, I don't know, the Energon universe and that stuff going on, the mole rats, all this kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I don't know about zombies, but then I had forgotten. Hell, I'd done read this new run, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, hell, of course they could go there because that's basically what they've kind of sort of. It's not exactly that, but it's in that realm, and I'm like, yeah, of course they could do that. It's like they're already doing it in the comics. So
I've been reading the Transformers and the Void Rivals.
Me too. I
like the Void Rivals a lot. I like where it's going.
What about Transformers?
Transformers is good. It just seems really slow.
It is. Even though like it's almost like a rinse and repeat thing to me, where it's like, okay, we got to go get Energon, and we're going to fight again. Then we got to go get Energon. We're going to fight again. The one thing that I kind of thought was a little goofy was the strong female character in it. This young girl who's like using a machine gun and is like rockets and stuff. And I'm just like, what is happening here? Like, what is this? She's pulling the trigger on a freaking gun that was in a Autobot's hand. And like, I'm like, no way.
What kind of strength does it take to pull that back?
Yeah. I'm like, come on, man. And she's like super angry. And I, and I'm just like, all right, I get it. Gotta have it, but it's like we didn't need this character in this book. Not really.
I mean, but they're presenting a strong female lead, which is something they want to kind of put in, and that's cool. And now they're starting the relationship with RC. At least it's not Star Wars.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely true. I'm with you 100%. And
Transformers is better written than the Acolytes, so I'm in.
Well, that's what's so funny, man. It's like, you pick up a comic book, that's got better writing, better story, than these freaking $200 million shows.
Oh,
it's absolutely insane. One of the things that does drive me a little crazy with the comics now, especially, is the number of variant covers.
Dude, when they started that shit back in what was it, like 90, 97, 98, like back in there, they really started doing variant copies for however many issues you ordered and how many issues you could push. It was like the start of something bad, even back then. Because when I was working in the comic book stores back then, it would just be insane. And I wasn't like somebody that was on the front lines. I was a buyer. They sent me out to go look at collections, come back, estimate what they were worth, and then shoot a bid and then go pick them up and then come back, and then the guys would sort. But yeah, it was just such a bad thing. And whenever I've gone through inventory for people every now and then, because I travel around the country, and I'll go to like Atlas, I'll go to Alley Cats in Chicago, I go to a lot of different places, and some of these guys will even ask me like, "Hey man, could you go through some inventory or whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so we'll run through it, and you'll just see that shit in stacks, like where it's just junk. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, no, and look, I get it. Some people are really into it. You go and look, and you find a cover of Scarlet, that's like $25, $30, but I'm just like,
Yeah. And right when it comes out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so many. I remember when I was trying to pick up for my cousin the Duke books, and I had to take pictures and be like, all right, what cover do you? I was like 5 freaking covers, and one of them was just white. Like, it was just white with nothing on the cover. It just said Duke at the top, and it was just a white cover. It was like a white cover, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, who wants this? And so that's one thing with modern comics, is that the variants have just gotten completely out of hand. And reality is that you get less pages for more money than what you used to get. I mean, you buy a book for 75 cents, $1 back in the day, and now you pay $3.99, $4.99 for a book, and you getting far less pages. Yes, the paper is nicer, the ink is nicer, whatever. But like, I'd rather have more story fit into a book than less story, on nicer paper, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I think that is kind of like the whole boil down to the entire industry at this point is good writing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Good writing, good story.
And you're starting to see, I mean, that's really becoming, people are really starting to rail on that. It's become kind of a rallying cry against a lot of this, as Matthew said, the intersectional stuff, intersectional feminism, and all the identity politics and all this stuff. And people are just like, enough. Like, let's go back to basics. I want a hero's journey, right? Or I want meaningful characters. I want, good dialogue. I want a good plot. I want sensical, things that make sense. And so, and you're really.
I think I lost you, Pop. Yeah, I don't think that, to be honest, when I think about the female characters, and how they're trying to push that agenda or whatever they're doing, I don't even care. And then they say, oh, well, you guys just don't like strong female characters. I'm like, that's bullshit, because I watched Furiosa, and Furiosa kicked ass.
Yeah, there's so many.
Like,
there's so many, and obviously people will bring up the usual ones like Sigourney Weaver and Alien. You get in Terminator, you get Sarah Connor. I mean, a lot of people go through those, but you can go through video games, man. You can go through comics. You can go through old television shows and movies going way back. And there have been many through the years. And I think it's one of those things. It's like, somehow Hollywood in particular feel like they just invented this stuff. Like, they just invented the strong female lead within the last 5 years. And it's like, no, this has always been around.
Yeah, they've always had good female leads, man.
Right. And so let me see. I want to highlight a couple things real quick too, because I had this up there and then I accidentally hit my damn back button and backed out of the stream for a second. I have a mouse that has like 37 buttons on it, and if you click the wrong one, it's a back button. And so it backed me out. So you were talking, I had to jump back in.
Oh, right.
I'm like, holy moly. But yeah, 3-star draw. He's saying everybody needs to tell me I need to clean out a toy box that's about 10 feet away from me. I have a toy box I've had since I was probably an infant. And
cool. I don't have any toy boxes.
Yeah, it's a dog. It's a puppy dog, and it's kind of ripped a little, big plastic tub. There's not much in it now, but maybe one day I'll show that off. And then Matthew agreed with you about Conan, Titan, and Savage Sword. Definitely. He's not a fan of the Scarlet book. Really likes Destro, Cobra Commander. And then I did want to see this. I do know 3-star said, did y'all see they were getting ready to kick off the actual Energon Universe comic that's tying it all together? I did get that first and only issue. And I like that just fine. I'm all in. I'm all in on this. If they want to do it well, I'm all in.
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll go along for the ride, see how it goes.
Yeah.
At least it's some kind of marketing too, because everyone's like, oh,
Yes.
we don't. And GI Joe has no marketing. Like I don't understand when they start talking about marketing other than like the live streams they do and stuff like that. There's no cartoon. There's no advertisements on TV for toys.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing.
No,
And to be honest, like when Classified came out, I didn't even know anything about it until the second wave hit. And I was just like,
with you.
what? And everyone's like, yeah, man.
I saw a Cobra Commander figure at Walgreens. And I thought it was just like all them other BB Buddy Walgreens figures. It's just the simple, no accessories, man, like just a figure and a small box, right? It's like 8 inches tall or 10 inches, whatever it is. And I remember seeing Cobra Commander there. And it damn well might have been one of the variants that actually goes for whatever now. But nonetheless, I remember seeing it and thinking like, that's pretty cool. And then it was probably months later, and I came across a Major Blood and a Flint. And I was like, oh, I like these. Now, Flint was like one of my favorite characters of all time. And so like I had to have him. And then I'm like, oh, that Major Blood looks great, man. I'm like, damn. And at that time, I wasn't buying anything. Nothing. Now, this is probably 2020, I would say, 2020, late fall 2020, somewhere in there. And you're right. No, not really any marketing. I remember seeing that shitty video game, and I remember reading a review, watching a review, and reading and also watching gameplay and realizing that it wasn't that good. That Operation Blackout or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know if you played that at all, or if you even play, but it's not a very good game. But I remember that, and it had the characters, the Classified line. It had these characters in those outfits. So the Duke, like Roadblock, and the weapon he uses in the video game, I think, was that big weapon that he comes with, that forked looking shit, I'm talking about. And then the Scarlet, that's how she was dressed up, so they were using those outfits. That game, just for anybody out there, it's not good. I just want you to know that. Like, it's very repetitive, but it's not that good of a game. If you can find it for cheap as all get out, go for it. But I wouldn't pay anywhere near full price or half price even. But they do have that new game coming out, the little 2D side scroller. And I played a demo of it off of Steam, and it's fun. It's a 80s style classic 2D scroller video game with special ups and stuff, like a Double Dragon type thing, right? But yeah, you're right. Like, from a marketing aspect, as popular as this line is right now for Hasbro, which, I mean, it has to be more popular than like the Legends. It has to be more popular than the Star Wars and their Black Series. It has to be more I mean, I don't know what else would be more popular than their G.I. Joe Classified right now.
I don't think there really is. And even like when you go to Pulse and you look at where it says brands and you hit, G.I. Joe now has ranking at the top.
Yeah.
The top dog right there. And the HasLab funded so fast for the His Tank and the Chopper. Like, they know we're buying it. It's just that simple.
Yeah. And then the compendium too.
Hopefully they don't price it out, because the last price hike to me was like, dude, you're at that point. Like, you go past this and you're going to start losing people.
Yeah, because everybody does have a limit. I mean,
yeah, they just do. And that's like, I don't know, Pulse like irritates me. You pay the $50, you get the membership, you get to shop a little bit before everyone else, you get free shipping. But it just kind of seems like they should have, because I would like to just put on mine, like, hey, just give me 2 of everything. And when HasLab hits, I'll buy whatever I need. And just like, can I just do that as a standing order and you guys just leave me the fuck alone? Like, right. I don't want to get on and own it. I just like, here's my card, just send it.
Yeah. And Matthew's saying like that the video game they're not really promoting, but the comics are doing well, so there is marketing. Yeah, but not in a traditional sense. I mean, yes, comics, and obviously that helps market, but like you said, War Chest, no cartoon. Yeah, no cartoon at all. No plans for a cartoon that I'm aware of that I've read.
Nope.
Obviously, yes, they're going to do a Transformers Joe movie, but those things take years to develop as well. And so I remember when Renegades was on. I don't know if you watched it, if you liked it at all. Yeah. I actually really enjoyed it myself. But they would have it on, and it would come on before Transformers Prime.
Yeah.
and they would run them back to back. And then they canceled G.I. Joe after one season, but Prime
It's-
ran for like 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah,
3
and it
seasons.
literally had the A-Team formula.
Yes.
Like it literally did. They went from town to town helping people out, and then one of the people they helped out will eventually become a Joe.
Right.
It was
Right.
I loved it.
And the thing of it is with that cartoon, and I get it, you know, the reality is you're not drawing in the viewers, right? Like you're
No.
not gonna draw in the viewers that you're nowadays for these shows. But I guess, you know, a situation where the cost outweighs, you know, what you're getting out of it. If you're not really drawing in viewers, I know it was on like the Hub or something like that. You remember that,
Yeah.
like a channel, and I know Prime was good, but I honestly, the animation for Renegades, I thought was just brighter. It was more fun. The Prime animation I thought was very dark. Sometimes I remember watching that cartoon thinking like it was hard to see sometimes. Like it was very
I've seen a couple, I think, of episodes of the Prime. The ones I watched were the ones on Netflix, the Cybertronian War stuff.
Oh, dude, I watched those
watched
too.
all
I like those too. I thought those were super cool.
But can you imagine like what would happen if they did something like this last He-Man series they did, Revelations, with the guys from Castlevania doing the animation on it?
Oh my god!
And if they did something like that for G.I. Joe right now, while it's at the height of this new line of toys, it would explode.
Yeah, and because I'm gonna tell you right now that for any of you out there who have not watched the Castlevania stuff, dude, do yourself a favor. That is one of the most amazing things I've seen, especially from animation. It is awesome. Story is really good. The voice acting is really, really freaking good. Yeah, I loved that show. I loved it, man.
Did you watch the League of Legends, the Arcane?
Yes.
That's
fantastic.
Like that's the first cartoon in years that like I watched the first one and I was like up till 7 in the morning. I was like, I gotta watch this whole thing.
Yes, it is. No, Arcane, fantastic, really, really good. And that is so to give you an example, that is an example of how to write a really good, compelling, interesting story that has 2 strong female lead characters in it.
Yeah.
Sisters, one good, one bad. Oh, let's see. There's a show out right now. One good, one bad sister that's complete and utter shit. Arcane, on the other hand, compared to the Acolyte, Arcane, strong writing, really good. I recommend everybody watch that. And also the cyberpunk cartoon that was out, Edge Runners. Dude.
Yeah, it was cool.
Great, dude. I really enjoyed that.
I even liked that Pacific Rim cartoon.
Oh, dude, yeah,
that was
absolutely.
Good.
Yep, that one too. Yeah. I mean, I love that original movie too. I always really enjoyed that movie.
I'm a huge I'll just have to get it all out and put it out. I'm a Toho freak.
All right.
I've got the bulk of my collection is mostly Toho Godzilla and GI. My O-ring collection's stupid.
Awesome.
And I got a lot of Masters of the Universe, man. Like lines and stuff. And after I like completed most of my Masters, I kind of quit with the toys for several years.
Okay.
And it wasn't really until I was still doing Toho stuff. Like I'm still like, I mean, like I'm always getting like just nonstop with it. And then I started getting into the XLs. And then I was running out of room, so I was like, "Oh, we gotta calm down on the XLs. I ain't got no room to put all this shit nowhere. I sold the house." so like, I was like, "We gotta like." Did you see that giant Ghidorah? That monster. All right, I got one of those coming. I don't even know where I'm gonna put it, but I had to buy it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I dropped bank on that, and I was like, I don't know where this
real. So
it's gonna be insane.
That is hilarious, man. So. Obviously, Matthew says this. He knows how much of a fan of that movie that I was too. I've talked about it.
I went and seen it 4 times.
I took my son, and look, my son could probably give 2 shits about Godzilla. And I grew up watching them on Sunday afternoons when they would come on, you know, when you only had about 4 channels to pick from. And they would show Kung Fu movies on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, and they would show Godzilla. So me and my sister grew up watching Godzilla stuff. And but Godzilla -1, is one of the best films I've seen in a really long time. An emotional film, as actually, because at the end of the movie, dude, I was like, I was breaking up, and I had to look over at my son because I'm like, is he gonna look at me like I'm sitting there like kind of tearing up? This story, I'm like, dude, it's that good.
Yeah, I thought it was just incredible.
Do you have any of those figures?
Like Pacific Rim, I like lost my mind when that went down because he was supposed to do a Godzilla film and then they pulled it, and he's just like, fuck you, I'll make my own. Like, I'll do my own kaiju shit. Let's go.
Right.
And like, and I can't tell you how many times I watched Pacific Rim in the theater. The second one, I only watched once.
Yeah,
first one I watched like literally, I think I watched it like 10 or 12 times.
And I think everybody agrees with you on the second one, right? Like but the first
it was okay. It just didn't have the same magic.
No, definitely not. But yeah, that first one was really good, and I did really enjoy it.
And I'll watch pretty much anything Gramo does. I mean, anything that guy directs, I'm in on. I would love to see him get a hold of the black hole of Gremlins. I'd love to see actually. I would just be like, I'd love to see a full Gremlins movie, and it just be like, make it more of a horror movie. Comedy in there, but make it more of a horror movie.
Right, because you'll never. I don't want to remake or a reboot of the original. I would like an all just new story. Hell, I mean, you think about where the gremlin came from. What kind of shop did he buy it in? It was in Chinatown, right?
Yeah.
Then set it over there.
Yeah.
Set the film over there, and make it that kind of story, not in America. Set it, in China.
Yeah,
set
and then maybe at the end show what happens when you take it out of its environment into another culture.
Yes.
Wow, that'd be crazy.
Like, yeah, man, that would be cool. And full on like a horror thing. Yeah, I'd be into that. I'd be all over
it doesn't have to be an outlandish, bloody horror movie. Just
no. But maybe not quite as goofy, with the like how the first and even the second one in particular too. Like, that one, and I love that movie, but it really, man, it towed that line, and sometimes it goes a little beyond it,
Yeah. Like, there's just so many really cool movies that could come back out. Like, why haven't they done a new Starship Troopers and put some money into it? Like, there's just some really cool stuff from. Well, I mean, we're about the same age, and I mean, I remember seeing Gremlins in the theater when I was a kid.
Me too.
It's just like,
one of the earliest memories I have is my dad taking me to see Empire Strikes Back and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I remember both of those movies going my uncle and my dad, and then I think my dad and one of his friends to see Raiders. And I remember my mom taking me to see Return of the Jedi, and I remember us walking in, and we missed I was so mad because we got there late, and I missed like probably the first. When I walked in, Vader's already talking to the Emperor. And I was so mad because I was like, I already missed it. And we probably only missed about 45 seconds or something. It was like barely if even that. And I was so upset.
Yeah, Raiders is one of those movies that if I'm channel surfing or whatever, I even catch it no matter where it's at in the movie. I'll stop and watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
You just have to.
When
I was a kid and it came out like right around my birthday. And I remember I was like just a little kid. And we did like this Showbiz Pizza. I imagine you guys had those at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
So we went to Showbiz Pizza, and I remember like there was just a bunch of kids there, and we had a blast. And somehow they had screwed up like the coupon for the coins, and it was like unlimited coins. So the kids were just, I mean, we were all just wound up, like, and playing video games all night. And then we went to go watch Indiana Jones. I remember this kid. His name was Scott Wolf. And he got me these incredible Hulk underoos. Like, that's what I got for my birthday from him, right? And I was all jazzed up. So fast forward, like, I'm like 35 years old, and we're all going and partying and stuff like this. And I'm dating this chick, and her last name is Wolf. And she introduces me to her brother. And his name is Scott. And I was like, dude, Incredible Hulk underwear at my birthday, and he's like, "Dude, I knew that was you."
Dude, hey man, and
Yeah.
Underoos was where it was at, brother.
It was crazy.
Underoos and Star Wars sheets on my bed. And what's funny about that? And Punk says, "What is this Raiders movie you speak of?" Eric Thurman, E.T. went to see that in the theater as well. I will tell a funny story here in a second about E.T. as well in the same summer movie that was out too. So, but yeah, so we were at Joe Fest, and me and 3 Star were walking around and look over, and the same bed sheets, Empire Strikes Back blue bed sheets that I had on my bed, they had over a couple tables, and draped down over a couple tables. And it was like, oh God, I remember rolling over and looking at Han holding and Leia's head as they're about to kiss, and then the Tauntaun, and it's like, oh yeah, baby. So the summer that E.T. came out, there was another movie called Annie that came out. Okay. And this kid up the street, you had those bed sheets too, Eric? Cool. So this kid up the street, Jason, had a birthday party, and they took us to the movies. And so I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to the movies. We got to be seeing E.T., right? I think maybe Superman even, or 2 or something like that. Anyway, and I was like, oh, we got to go see E.T., you know? Man, this dude, we all went to see Annie. Dude picked Annie. Yeah, Annie. I'm like 7 years old, like 6, 7 years old. And I'm like, what? Even then, at that age, I understood. Like, I was like, no. Like, there's Superman, or there's E.T., or God knows whatever else, that was out in 82. And we saw Annie, and I was so mad through the whole thing. So mad. And actually, if I remember correctly, a big thunderstorm came through and knocked the damn power out. And we sat there and waited on the movie to get started again. I was like, can we just please leave? Like, this is terrible. Who picks Annie over E.T.? Like,
oh yeah, who does that?
Jesus.
One of the things I miss about the theater when we were kids is they would hand out stuff in the lines. Like, I've still got from Superman 2, I've got this like plastic Superman emblem that was like the one he threw that was like a web. I've still got that.
Yeah.
And I was like, my mom saved it for me forever. And I was just like, I remember they used to hand out like action figures at Return of the Jedi. Like, there was just all this cool shit that they used to hang out for swag for people online for opening.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then, so, I know they kind of still do this though. With and Shark Guy says, I'm certain out of beanbag with that same Empire bed sheet print. Probably so. Son of a gun, dude. You better be careful, bro.
I'm leaning back into that table and it pops. When I pop the edge of it, it pops.
Elliot. That made me lose I lost my train of thought watching you go back.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like a giant harvest table back there. And I've just got all my shit stacked on it right now because I'm moving all my shelves around.
Oh, I know. I was gonna say, let's see. What did they I remember getting like collector's glasses from Popeye's Chicken with like Star Wars on it. You get like a set of 4 glasses. You fast food places, you would get like they would, and I know they kind of still do, but not in the same way that it used to be. Like, there used to be really solid collectible stuff you could get from
for sure.
Movie tie-ins, especially.
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely remember having like Star Wars glasses, like tall, probably, 16.
All the lead line glass.
Yeah. You're right.
I remember having these Sesame Street ones we had forever. Like, they all had like Big Bird on them and shit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
For real.
But yeah, man, you don't see it quite as much, and if you do, it's just like a collectible plastic cup, or some shit like that. But yeah, I miss that, man. Things change. Obviously, it is what it is. But I think in back in those days, and when it came to kids and figures and toys, it is a different world now. I know that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, kids are still interested in like Matchbox when they're little, and they, but I think from the action figure business, really their money is coming in from collectors, man. It's coming in from adults. I never rarely see kids in Target on the toy line. It's always grown men walking through there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I don't go out and search for toys very often. Occasionally I do. Like we've got like 4 Rosses here. So like whenever something hits Ross, like some of the guys will go, hey, and I'll go like troop building Ross.
Right.
I don't play around with that. But then I've kind of curbed the troop building. I'm like, do I really need 16 of this guy?
Well, yeah, right.
I'll be like, yeah, you do. No, you don't. Cut it out.
Yeah. Well, and I don't even really toy hunt, but every time I go to Walmart, every time I go to Target for particular, I always at least swing through the aisle. Right. I'll make a swing through out of my way just to walk over there and check out the scene. And the one that's by me really actually sucks. The Target by me it's the worst, dude. They don't never have anything ever. And a lot of empty pegs, empty shelving. And Eric Thurman says GameStop. I don't even go to GameStop hardly anymore. Really, I used to go and buy games from GameStop, and it was a usual thing for me, trading them in, buying the pre-owned, 2 for 1, or buy 2, get 1 for $5 or whatever. Yeah. But even from a figure standpoint, I rarely go and look at GameStop anymore. I really do. I don't know. I don't
go to GameStop very often because I haven't had a game come out I wanted to buy.
Well, and that's understandable too. Yeah. And now, of course, a lot of them you go buy, you just get an empty box anyway. It's just got a code inside. Doesn't even have a disc. So it's not, what's the point, right? I mean, that's a killer for places like.
But like, if you're like a power member on GameStop, like figures are like $1 cheaper or something. I think
that is true. Sometimes more than about $1 cheaper. Sometimes a little more if they have a mark. Yeah, I think you're right. And I have actually been a freaking power member for years. I had like the Game Informer subscription, and stuff like that.
The last time I picked anything up at GameStop was when they had the Arkham figures, like the Croc Master and Clayface.
Yes.
I got those things like 60% off, and I was like, yeah, I'll take all that shit.
Oh, for sure.
I just went in and cleaned it out. I was like, I'm taking it all.
Yeah, you're like, I'll tell you what, just give me the little plastic box that you got them all locked in, whatever. Just give me that whole thing, and I'll just take off with it. Because sometimes they do, especially some of those statues and stuff like that, like are super cool. But yeah, I know some people that's kind of their go-to, really, especially for figures. And Thurman says they have a figure list where you can pre-order. Or he said, okay, a wrestling Street Fighter. Wait, what? I'm trying to figure that out. Correction. They have a wrestling Street Fighter figure. They have a figure list. Anyway, maybe that's all the same thing. But yeah, man. Oh, hell, here's an update real quick, man. So I don't know if you were listening earlier that, Woody was going to visit Legend series, and Legend jumped on and said that he was about 10 minutes away. So Crown Fox says that Woody got there safe, and now him and Legend have us in the background as they're playing joint roulette.
Puff pass.
Yeah, baby. That's awesome. And hello, Crown Fox. Good to see you. Yeah, man. That was pretty cool though. Like he jumped in, I was like, yeah, Woody's on his way here. And I'm like, oh, you guys are gonna have such a good time.
Yeah.
They're gonna have such a good time. You kidding me? That's awesome, dude. But yeah, toy hunting, I really don't do. I know like and some people really, and I can understand why. It's just the thrill of the chase, just getting out and,
to tell you the only thing that I don't necessarily scalp anything, but like when it comes to Mondo, I'll buy like 3 of like a Motu Mondo figure.
Okay.
And the reason isn't for like resale, it's to trade in case I miss something.
Okay.
Because like I missed like a trap jaw because I was on a plane coming home. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? I'm like, I get psycho over that shit. so I'm like, all right, I'll trade you this anti-attorney of He-Man for trap. Let's make this trade. Meet me at the Dollar General.
Yeah.
But I like lose my mind on the Moti thing because I get really pissed with Mondo, and everyone will know this because I'm very verbal about it. I'm like, last minute drop out of nowhere. they've increased the drop from what they were doing. They're doing more and more, and I just get psycho mad. I'm like, can't you like say, hey, coming in July, so we know, and then like give us a week to prepare or whatever.
Yeah,
So we know
man.
it's coming.
I am definitely a
Damn.
fan of the preparations, right? Like
Yeah.
I really do. Now, surprise drops. Yeah, I mean that can definitely be fun, and it spurs kind of this, frantic kind of thing for people. But I just feel like it's in a way it's kind of a I don't know, kind of a unfair thing because if you're not totally plugged in all the time, and
Yeah.
I know I'm not, like
No,
I
I'm
am
too busy
not.
most of the time.
Yeah.
I have enough people that will tell me that know what I collect. That's how random how I found out about a classified is my lawyer. Like who's one of
Okay.
my best friends. He was like, bro, you still collect all that G.I. Joe shit? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, they got like these G.I. Joes that are like this big now. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. He goes, saw him at Target. I was like, man,
Yeah.
you full of shit. And he's like, no, for real. And then like the next day he showed up with one. He's like, hey. And I was like, oh. And then I went on the hunt.
Yeah, man.
So like it was
So I usually get a lot of my news from 3-Star. He will message me and be like, did you hear about this? Or he'll message me about somebody's video. He will keep me kind of plugged in. And I have my moments. I have my moments where I'm checking pulse, or I'm checking my emails, or I'm looking at some news and stuff. But I'm really bad about trying to stay on top of it. So he gives me a lot of my news, especially classified. Now, again, mainly because I really don't collect anything else other than that. It's a lot easier to stay on top of it since I'm not trying to keep up with several different lines. This stuff here, the dime store,
that's
the dime novel legends, I was saying earlier, that's kind of the first stuff that I have bought other than a G.I. Joe product. I did buy Voltron, got all the lions. 3-Star actually picked him up for me. And so, and I got him back for those. And then we did a video where we reviewed it and everything. And he put that up on his channel. But yeah, so the Voltron lions, but that's really about it, man. Everything else is strictly just G.I. Joe classified.
Right on.
And a couple Mezcos. Right.
Yeah,
the Ultimates got some of the
I've been
Ultimates.
trimming down. I've been trimming down. I still do the Motu with the Mondo, and I did not buy that Sky Sled though. They can suck it. Like I was like that thing was so overpriced. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I get pissed off when I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. So I got all pissed off about it. And it's so stupid because like my friends will be like, dude, just buy it. And then they'll be like, it's funny because I will bitch about the price of a car or some other shit like that, but then I'll go drop some mad money on some toys for no reason. They're like, look, just
man. I get it, but I mean, you know how it is. That's just how it goes, man. And especially if you're into this stuff, it's like you will kind of bitch about the cost of this and that, but you'll turn around and drop that money right on a figure, right on an exclusive. Yeah, right. Yeah, Chick-fil-A. What are you talking about? Yeah, $40.
What?
I'm like, holy crap!
And then you're like, but wait a minute, Mechagodzilla is only $200.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
fucking dumb, dude. We're all so stupid.
Oh my god,
that's hilarious.
Isn't it though? Like it is.
Yeah, it is
absolutely goofy. But you can't help what you like. It is what it is, man. That's all there's to it. Says Matthew said he'd been following What's on Joe Mind and Full Force, and then What's on Joe Mind went silent, and Full Force got him into Classified. So that's kind of how he fell into it.
I tell you, I love the Classified. I do.
I do too.
I do too. There's really there's little things here and there, like the rubbery gun stuff that is irritating as shit. And the only other thing I like really would complain about on like all the damn figures is the wrist swivel, so they can actually hold the guns.
Yes, I agree.
They've got to do something about that.
Yeah, I agree.
But past that, I fucking love them. They're detailed. They're well thought out. You know,
you,
everybody bitches about a little bit. It's like you can't just be happy that they put. You know, everybody got bitch about a little something.
right. Oh
That's
yeah,
how it
yeah,
works.
and we've messaged back and forth a little bit about that, you know,
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, I definitely understand, and when you're paying money for something and you know you want to get what you pay for and all that stuff, so that's
absolutely.
fully understandable. But then sometimes I do find some of the minutia to be a bit overblown or overdone. But again, at the same time, you know, sometimes, man, I mean, figure has, you know, shaky knees, shaky ankles, you know,
Yeah,
loosey goosey legs. I mean,
I
that
got one
stuff
of
sucks.
those fireflies that was just like,
Right.
you know,
Right. Well, and I got a mole rat in the box. The arm and the cuff was out. You know what I mean? Like the whole ball socket, whatever the shit was all in the bottom of the box. I could hear it rattling around. And then, you know, 3-star, he got what, like 3 of them or something. And, you know, he opened them up. It's like all of them had arms already off and everything. And it's like, how does this happen? You know?
What's your favorite figure so far?
Golly, man. I gotta be honest with you, dude. Like, we did a top 10 for last year
Yeah,
video, and Ripper was probably my favorite one.
Ripper was your favorite.
I
Mine
love
is still
that
Major
figure.
Blood, man.
I love him.
can't
I
shake it.
do. I love him. I thought Ripper they did so well, like so freaking well. The
Yeah.
face sculpt and
Oh, Ripper's
his
great. I like
outfit. But I'm with you though. Major Blood though, I mean,
Yeah.
that's probably best face sculpt in the whole line,
Yeah.
I would say, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they've got, you know, the scar, and he actually has a mole. 3-star noticed that. Did you notice that
Yeah,
on
he
him?
does.
He's
Yeah.
got a mole.
Yeah.
So like something like that. That's a, you know, that's pretty wild, dude. Like so I don't know. It's a very good face sculpt. He was the second figure I bought behind Flint.
Gotcha.
And that was when I tried to convince 3-star to start buying them, because I was like, dude, you need to check these out, man. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
I kind of seen them, but anyway, I was like, man, I really like these. And I wasn't intending on, you know, Pokemon and this shit, you know, got to catch them all.
And I can say, like, without a doubt, like, our targets are pretty rich with figures here.
Really?
If you're
That's
in the
great.
Branson, Missouri area, down
Yeah.
where all the country western crap is,
Yeah.
that target down there, straight honey hole.
Really?
Oh, I'm telling you, anybody that's listening, if you go there, you will find anything you want.
All right.
Like,
Yeah,
I remember when they were all coming out, and I found like a whole case of Major Bloods. I was just like, I went down there last week and I pulled all this NECA stuff. I was like, what is going on in this
Eric
town?
Thurman, you hear that? You should have been in Branson.
Telling you.
Get that Major Blood. Spirit and Freedom, that was Eric's first figure. That's a great figure too. That actually, you know what? That is a fantastic figure.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters in the Joe line. You know, he's like my little Apache chief. You know,
yeah, man.
you know, but them not giving him his breech cloth. And he doesn't look complete without it. He just doesn't.
I agree, and I would hear the same shit anytime it would be brought up, and it's like, man, we got to get over this bullshit.
Yeah,
you know, like there's nothing offensive about that cloth. There's nothing about, you know.
Yeah, mine has one.
Like, you know,
I just bought one on Etsy. The guy made them. I was like, okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on. Like, there's nothing offensive about that. And you know, I'm not going to go into the whole hooded CC thing, but I think that shit is ridiculous too. You know, and so
and then when they put out the Zemo from the Legends.
Oh my God, yes. You know, I almost brought that up at Joe Fest when we were talking about it. I was talking to Punk about it. I almost brought up Zemo because, and he said, well, you know, it's not the same thing. I'm like, well, I don't know, man. Like, you know, it's the other thing too for me is that who's buying your product? Yeah. Who's buying your product? A bunch of 40 grown-ass men, 40-year-old grown-ass men. Do you think for 1 second? And I'm a big believer, especially in these corporations, these stupid companies. Okay, withstand the blowback from whatever little funky group's going to give you blowback for a day or two, and then the shit's going to disappear. It's going to go away. You don't respond to it. You don't even pay any attention to it. You do what you do.
Yeah.
And then it'll be done in 2 days. It'll die down and everybody be on to the next story.
there's nobody buying GI Joe that's going to stop buying GI Joe. Just a
Hell
bunch of people that ain't
no.
buying GI Joe that want to bitch.
That's what I'm saying. And that's with a lot of this stuff that you get that shit from,
Yeah,
right? Is these people don't support the product, they don't see the movies, they don't, and yet they want to change everything that you like to
yeah,
suit their desire.
that's
And if
right.
and so to me, it's like, man, a hooded Cobra Commander, yes, Hasbro, would you catch some BS from some weird ass, you know, groups out there that would say
Yeah,
something for a couple of days? Yeah, I guess. But then you ignore it for 2 or 3 days and it's over with. And you
yeah,
and it's a done deal. And then, maybe when the figure's released, it comes up again in an IGN article or some
yeah,
stupid shit like that. And then it's over with. And it's done. It's a done deal. Now, I do know Hasbro definitely has got a lot of money lended to them from your ESG, your BlackRock,
oh, yeah.
your Vanguards, right? They're heavily involved in a lot of the DEI stuff and everything. And so for all we know, that could be a mandate from the people who give them their money. You cannot make this figure. You will not make this figure, or you won't get that low interest loan.
Yeah. No doubt, right?
I mean, it's possible.
That's hilarious.
It's possible. We don't know that,
Yeah, who knows?
but nonetheless, I do think that it's a silly thing to be arguing about, or a silly thing to not be able to do.
And it's mind blowing to me, completely mind blowing, that
Yeah.
there's an entire thing called Joe Fest, and Hasbro doesn't have the biggest fucking booth in the place.
No presence whatsoever.
An entire show every year
Right.
dedicated to your product.
Yeah, it is interesting. It couldn't cost them that much money to send down, Lenny or Lenny
No.
and Emily or whomever you want to send, whatever representative you want to send to set up a booth. I mean, the amount of money you're raking in on HasLabs alone.
Yeah. Hell, why doesn't Joe Fest have an exclusive figure?
Yeah,
it's just
that's
crazy,
you're right, man. You're bringing something up that I honestly had not even thought about.
Yeah,
but you're right. That is it is shocking. You have a festival completely dedicated to you, and I know that Joe Fest kind of took the place of Joe Con, right? Joe Con, is that what it was? Or the it ended a few years ago. They ended it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why Joe Fest started up, right? The
Yeah.
founder of it. Daredevil Dave, man, he says he's got a crash. I understand, and I'm pulling into the driveway here. We're kind of pulling up on the back end of it myself, because I got to work tomorrow too. But and I'm a little tired, even though I've had coffee. But I'm one of those weird people that can like sleep after drinking coffee. But yeah, Daredevil Dave, man, I appreciate it, buddy. And for anybody listening on a replay or whatever, hit the thumbs up button if you can. Throw us a subscription if you like what you've heard. I appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. Yeah, man, that does pose an interesting question about their presence, and I'm sure they've been asked about it. I just don't know of it, but I'm sure there's something out there. Maybe maybe one day they will be. It does seem kind of a shame to not have a the biggest booth there and to celebrate.
Well,
to celebrate everybody that's there.
Not only that, but just from a business standpoint, I'm like, Joe Fest. It's an entire event based around our product, but all of our competitors are there showing off their shit, and we're not.
That is true, right?
And it's like, nah, we can't have that.
Yeah,
that would be like that. That's almost like, well, I wouldn't say that because that's dog shit. I was gonna say, like, if you had like a giant wing festival where everyone cooked wings and you're Hooters and you don't go, it's just mind-boggling. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Well, and realistically too, it'd be like taking candy from a baby. I mean, if you're Hasbro, you literally, people are opening their wallets every pre-order. So if you came with like an exclusive fig,
and it's in Yo-Jo June. It's just
like, right.
Which, I hate to say it, for me personally, I think this Yo-Jo June's kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
No HasLab, no, like,
yeah.
It's like,
that's true, and 3-Star actually was kind of on that too during a stream and everything. I know during maybe one of Punk's streams, and he was kind of going on about what they had some of the things they revealed, or when they talked about the dragonfly, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very heavy on that. It's been really kind of a letdown, right? And again, and so I come back to this sometimes, man, and I know people probably get tired of hearing it, but Hasbro's lost a lot of money, and they are having to cut back on stuff. They're having to cut back on their boxes now. You notice the boxes are not
they're
as,
trying to save money wherever they
fancy.
can.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, that is a big freaking deal, and it doesn't get as much attention paid to it. And they're losing money on Star Wars too. They're license. When this
That
stuff
has
is
more to do
licensed
with
out.
Disney than it does Hasbro.
Well, I agree, but when you're making toys and nobody's buying them, and they're just filling up your local Ollies, right? I mean, and you still see Ray figures. You know what I'm saying? You still see Rose Tico figures or whatever. You still see like, and cases and cases of unsold plastic, man. And so when you're making this stuff and nobody's buying it,
it's just dead capital, man.
So
you got to get rid of it. Just get your money back.
So to me, like, they're losing a lot of money on that, and some of the other lines as well. But yeah, and so with those losses, I mean, they've already said they're focusing on like video games, and they're going to pivot more into some other stuff, and so maybe tabletop, but so I think those things make a difference, and I'm not saying that's not the reason why Yojo June was disappointing, but I do feel like moving forward, it is going to affect their business strategy, and maybe some of those things that we look forward to, we're not going to be able to get as often or as what we would like. It's just possible. I mean, I see that.
I'm a firm believer we should be getting 2 HasLabs a year for Joe.
Well, I agree. I think for some people, maybe that one a year is about all that they can do at a $300 price point. And if we go up more than that too,
and that's the only reason, because they're keeping it around that price point.
Yeah, man.
If they jump to a $500 price point, there's going to put a lot of people out.
And I don't know that I don't know that I could support like something that goes up that much. I mean, it would be a big decision for me if we jumped well above, like if we went up to like $5.99 for some crazy ass 6-inch scale something or other, a Unicron-ish type thing that's $900, whatever. I don't know. I don't know that I could support something like that. But at the $300 level, pretty much I can be in on that. And Matthew says something interesting here too. The HasLab was supposed to be announced, but Lucasfilm postponed the HasLab, which in turn postponed the Joe HasLab. And that's what I mean. Like
San Diego gave him the HasLab and everything. They gave Joe the spotlight at San Diego.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they wanted to reveal it there to get more people onto the line, I'm sure.
Right. So
what did you think about that cantina for HasLab?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think it's cool that they put out a playset instead of a vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
That was awesome. Like, because that's like one thing the Transformers don't have. They don't have playsets.
That's true.
Like, and then Joe, we haven't gotten a playset yet. And I was actually hoping that like maybe this year was a playset instead of a vehicle or something.
Yeah, again, I think that's the hard part at that scale. Is that if you're going to do a playset, I mean, it's going to be pretty big. And like with Transformers too, because what kind of play set do you do with Transformers? Like an arc? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really know exactly how what you would do with that, and to make it as appealing enough for people to back it, right? I don't know. I'd be curious to see. I think it'd be great, especially if you collect Transformers. But
I'll show you. I've got pieces here. I've showed a couple of people. I need to grab it all out. Hold on, I'll grab it real quick.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Let's see. What are you saying here, Matthew? Says no one is listening. So Valis Warm Locust Fang-like vehicle looks awesome. Okay, Muddy Vanguard, translucent Praetorian, leather clad Pandora, AP figure, white leather Pandora, 50 pink Vanguards. I had to check those out. Matthew. And see. Let's see here.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's about it. Yeah. All right. Check it out. What we got? What we got? What
All
we
right, so,
got?
like, so I made this. I had one I built before, like about a year ago, and it took up a shit ton of fucking space. So then I went back in and I redesigned it, and I put a cleat on the back of it so you can hang it on the wall.
Yeah.
But now the toy enhancer has one, but this is a GI Joe base. This is the wall,
Oh wow.
and it actually hangs on the wall, and it's a shelf.
Wow.
So it's just one giant GI Joe base to hang on the wall.
Let me
And it goes
see
all the
here.
way down to the firing cannon. And I've got this giant blast effect that's like 2 foot long that sticks out of the cannon.
I'm trying. It sucks. I don't know what the hell is going on. But
It's just crazy.
I was trying to put you on full screen on my screen here, but it's not actually not even reacting. It's not even letting me change that layout, change that layout, change that layout. What
But
the
yeah,
hell?
it's just a monster.
Dude, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
only imagine how big, because I seen the one Aaron, I saw it's like set
Yeah.
up. And I know 3-Star can confirm that as well when he went down there, I'm sure, because I'm sure he saw it too.
Yeah, and it's expandable. So the more Joes you get,
Right.
you just keep expanding you just add a new section onto it. To the cleat.
That's
just like,
yeah.
so I'm designing one right now that's for a Cobra, for a whole Cobra
Nice.
base to go on the other side of the wall, so I can put all my classifieds up on it and get them up out of the way.
Dude. Yeah, man. Then you can have all your Joes with the one arm up and the right arm up or the left arm up, like in a Yo Joe pose, standing across the front of it. Like around the headquarters. And Shark Eyes says that it's gonna be funny when Hasbro drops the Fang in the weeks ahead. I hope so. I hope they drop the Fang because that's what I would like.
The little helicopter.
But yeah, the little black helicopter. Now
That's cool.
Matthew says it's going to be the Claw, which is what that's the little hang glider, right? The little hang glider or the little pack thingy. I'm trying to remember which one. I know they'll correct me. But Shark Guy says, nah, I heard otherwise. So I either way, I'm cool with it. But I've been saying that for a long time. I think the Fang, for the size of it, you don't have to charge that much for it. One figure fits in it. It's just got a little stick and a little ball gun on the front, and it's a little thing. It'd be perfect. I mean, that would be perfect. It's a small vehicle you could release that everybody would want, and I don't see why not. So yeah, hell, I hope so. I hope they do. Well, man, I'm gonna kind of wrap things up, I guess, here, brother, and kind of finish up. Did want to say thanks to everybody in the chat and everybody that stopped by and cut up for a little while. Hopefully we entertained you a little bit. I did send out an invite to War Chest earlier about maybe coming on. I said something about maybe a week ago or whatever. And since I didn't have a whole lot to really talk about tonight, to be honest with you, even though with the debate last night and some other stuff really, but honestly, to me it's just kind of slow right now. The Acolyte's losing a lot of steam. People, there's nothing to talk about with that. I know House of the Dragon, I don't know if you watched that show, but House of the Dragon,
I caught the first episode to it the other day. I watched the last season. It's good, man.
Episode 3 comes out Sunday night. I'm gonna check that out, and I really want to do a deep dive or a good dive on that show because I really like it too. But other than that, man, I mean, there really wasn't a lot, and didn't seem like anybody really cared to talk about the debate, which I can understand.
I've been watching Louder Milk and
okay.
Warrior's badass. I hope they get another season of Warrior.
God, Louder Milk, man. I haven't thought about that show in a hot minute. Yeah. Well, shoot, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate you hanging out for a little while. We'll definitely do this again.
Yeah, hit me up.
I have no doubt about it, brother. And I know I'll be messaging you on Instagram back and forth. But yeah, anybody that's watching this on a replay, I really appreciate it. Like the video, give me a thumbs up, throw me a sub on there if you get a chance, and I'll put out some more shorts and get on my videos here and get the Joe Fest memory video up hopefully tomorrow before I go to work. I have just a few pictures to add and it should be done. But yeah, man, so thank you, man. Thanks everybody. And War Chest, I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Let's send it out with a little jam, man. We'll see y'all later on. Pop Blender Unfiltered. We're out.